This program is rated MA. It contains adult themes, coarse language, sexual references, and violence.
All right. Friday night. It's Friday night. It's open comms. Welcome. I'm Drayden. We got Dirk here. Rain's back. Welcome back, Rain. We got LB here. How's it going, man?
How you doing?
And then also joining us in the background, we got Noisy. How's it going?
Oh, doing pretty good.
And we have Arendus.
Hi.
And Hyper Viper's back. How's it going?
Hello.
Yeah, we should. I'm hoping that Mike Azariah is going to drop by, as well as the Dunk Dinkle. Dunk Dinkle was, I don't know, drinking a scotch and eating a pulled pork or something. I don't know. they're both traveling, so they're gonna try and call in. Was hoping to have had a couple CSM, but due to some technical difficulties, which I think is basically them drinking on their last night there, that's not going to happen. But we're going to talk to whoever we got. And who knows? We may drag some others along the way.
I don't know. I heard Pearl Abyss shut down Iceland after they bought the place.
Pull the plug.
I have some dank CSM links, by the way. I don't know. Should I send these to you guys, and you can show them on screen? So you're talking about.
Don't send them to me.
You're talking about drinking. So Sutonia was messaging me last night, and I'm like, Sutonia, I have to go to bed. I work in the morning, and I wake up to just like I don't know what he was saying. It was absolute garbled drunken mess, and so I screenshot it and have been sending it to everyone after confirming he's alive, so calling them CSM leaks because I have no idea what it is. No, the only words I can make out were fucking scammed, rebroadcast, ducking, and we are like dying, and then he goes at reload. So I don't know what that means.
All the big work getting done at the summit.
Yeah.
Very intense work.
But yeah, so anyways, I don't know. It's been kind of an interesting week associated with EVE Online. The patch notes came out today.
Oh, damn.
For next week, right?
I believe it is for next week. Yeah.
You still doing patches?
Yeah, apparently. We just keep calling them patches. But yeah, I'm gonna link them out here. We're not gonna like go too deep into these things. Look, it's the September patch notes again. Like usually September, as far as patches goes, is not a really big month for patches or releases or whatever the hell you want to call them. Yeah, and they are called patch notes. It says patch notes. For release 1.0. Well, whatever. Anyways, who gives a shit? It's coming out Tuesday, September 11th. Rip September 11th. I don't know. There was a lot of stuff in this that was associated with stuff that we went over a couple of weeks back with, like, Karker's little things, giant list of little things and whatnot. Stuff like, being able to, put stuff into a citadel or whatever, like from outside and whatnot. The things associated with, what the hell was it?
Mobile depots.
Yeah, the mobile depots. You won't be able to put things into those once they've been reinforced. You'll still be able to get it out.
Nice.
Rip all the excavators.
Will you still be able to just pick it up and put it back down again?
Well, no, because it's reinforced, so no.
Well, it's reinforced now. You can just pick it up now.
Oh, that's right.
It'll risk dying. Because you can kill it on the anchoring part instead of just reinforced.
But will it actually have an unanchoring part then? 'Cause it doesn't now.
It should have one.
I don't know. Ask the Koreans.
I have no idea. But Nairbear is pointing out the new Osprey model is out now too, which affects Osprey, Navy, Basilisk, as well as the Atana.
Yeah, I'm not thrilled with the Basilisk version.
What
I
was
haven't really looked at the Osprey.
What was the point of putting something into a mobile depot that was reinforced?
The biggest thing was
It
before,
allows
like,
you to fit.
Yeah,
Allows
unless
you
you
to
still
refit.
use it,
Refits.
they can shoot it and they can't just instantly kill it.
Gotcha.
So you
Okay,
can- yeah.
I see what you're saying.
and
Right.
people would use it to store their excavator drones so they couldn't
Yeah.
be killed.
Right. Fun. Yeah. And anyway, that thing was called the Upwell Cargo Deposit. I thought they were going to change that name. I'm trying to remember what it was. I thought we came up with a really funny name for it that like it should have actually changed to, because Upwell Cargo Deposit just seems sort of
Weak.
whatever. Yeah, it seems kind of weak. Whatever.
You can. That's going to be for sale in a couple months.
That's right.
$3.99.
$200.
They're going to sucker you in now with allowing you to do it for September and then part of October, and then come November they're going to let you buy passes for that. The cash
Well, see,
store.
what they ought to do is they ought to keep the naming convention they have for citadels, because it goes keep, fort, house, and this could be like the tool shed or something.
The mobile shed.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that sounds so shoddy.
Everybody will be glad to know coming in September, coming next Tuesday, significantly increase the signature radius of customs offices, so that they'll be easier to hit with XL missiles.
I
Oh,
can't
good. You
take
don't have
them
to target
anymore.
paint them anymore.
Which is so ridiculous.
Just in case you were waiting on the edge of your seat for that one.
Will they offset that with a web resistance though?
Oh man.
It's still no
That's-
longer
that's
susceptible to
40
points.
chess.
So.
And Grim Reaper, thanks for the sub, man. That was a bit ago, but
Anyways, yeah. So again, not going to go like super deep into this because it is a bunch of little things and stuff like that. So I mean, and that which is normal after a summer when a lot of people at CCP are normally off anyways and things like that. So usually September is not really a big release anyway.
But what about the audio upgrade?
Yeah, the middleware.
Yeah, when I pulled that up today. And I saw that right out of the bat, there was an audio middleware upgrade. I was like, man, they're really burying the lead on this week with, with doing this whole CCP got bought thing.
It was sorted by alphabetical. Audio starts with an A, so it was
I guess.
at the top.
Yeah,
Clear conspiracy.
yeah, we'll give it to you.
That
But
was
they
just
need
a
to upgrade
coincidence.
that. They need to upgrade that before they start playing K-pop on Eve.
Well, yeah. How are we gonna be able? Well, is this gonna be the comeback?
Will
of
they?
radio?
Yeah, I was gonna say, will they bring the jukebox back? And
with K-pop.
with K-pop stations.
With K-pop.
Yes.
Well, we're gonna need an Eve song that's got like a K-pop kind of thing to it, right?
We might, yeah. What was that baby metal one you put on there?
That was pretty good.
Isn't,
I tell you what,
that was surprisingly-
That's gonna be my song for a little while.
I didn't know what to think of it. It was all over the place, but at the same time entertaining. So I don't know.
Yeah, that was what was that called? Chocolate or Gimme Chocolate or something?
Yeah. Avalon's saying baby metal is Japanese, not Korean. So
Was it
Oh.
chocolate that you put
God
on?
damn it, you guys.
Oh, is it? Well, I don't know. I mean, I freaking went to YouTube and said
Well, that's
Korean metal, and that
well,
came
no,
up.
If you got baby metal, then you need Korean metal. But chocolate was definitely their first hit.
Well, did you,
Their new
so-
albums
so-
apparently got a lot more diversity on it, and a lot more blues influence. So
I don't
you guys
know.
see the North
blame
Koreans?
YouTube. I don't know.
North Koreans watching the K-pop concert and utterly confused about it.
The looks on their faces. What is
Yeah.
Cypher, thanks for the resub, 31 months. Yelling at nerds and shit at us. And... But the other big thing that I will remind people for this particular release, modules in cargo are now included when a fit is saved,
Yes.
which is just simply
Handy.
outstanding. So just a lot of these things they said may be coming, or they were coming to Singularity a couple weeks ago, and may be coming in the September release. Boom, here they are in the September release.
yeah. I'll get into. I was gonna say Sergeant Grim Reaper just said something, but I'll wait till we get to the other discussion because it deals with that.
be right back.
Yeah.
Hi, Cypher.
Anyways, you know what? We're gonna fucking dive into the dive into the meat of the week, man. Holy shit! So a little.
Did you guys not see this coming?
Well, no,
I
I
didn't do it.
distinctly remember for the past 2 years, and I think it was with you guys, some of us going, oh, it sounds like they might be trying to get sold.
Well,
That's
I kept
EA.
going, I
Yeah,
kept
have a
going and
conversation.
telling everybody that Amazon was going to buy CCP and put Caneros in charge.
For years, okay, that's been like, other than Eve is dying, they reached a point where it was like, oh, CCP's totally they're trying to sell themselves, and it goes back several years. I mean, back when they cleaned up their balance sheet, back when they retired the public debt that they had, and like a number of other things along the way, it was like, these look like steps towards putting themselves on the market and things like that. So, well, we have in fact been talking about it for a number of years. There was a Bloomberg article. When did that come out, Noisy?
That was in December of 2016.
Yeah, December 2016, where it indicated that they were being shopped and attached I think 350 million or something like that price tag or something along those lines.
Yeah, it was like a $300 million valuation, and they were floating a figure of 900 million for a sale.
Wow.
900 million. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
That's pretty
Yeah.
tempting. I mean,
Wait,
I
is that
I
selling
think we
screamed
Eve, or is that
insanity at the
selling
time, but-
CCP?
That was selling
CCP.
CCP, and that was the first real trial balloon. The guy that put together the big venture capital push, he died in November of 2016, and then within a month, there were these trial balloons going out on Bloomberg and stuff saying, "Hey, CCP, you want to sell? You want to buy it?" So I think that the guy who put together the deal really liked Valkyrie, because he was a former F-18 pilot in the Navy, and so when he died, his replacement said, "I don't think this is a good idea," and he was immediately trying to bail.
Okay.
But yeah, so anyways, we have been talking about it for a number of years. There were a number, there were a number, you can call them clues, you can call them speculation, whatever the heck it was, that did make it look that way. I know that when we would sit there, back when the financials were still available to us, talking about the climbing equity percentages of the outside venture cap. I'm not sure they're all venture cap. I think some of them were private equity or whatever. But the outside investment fund type groups where we're sitting there going, wow, they're getting a bigger chunk of this. When they retired the debt, I believe it was those guys. I believe it was Novatar, right, Noisy, that picked up more equity in that entire transaction.
Yeah, Novator always was the biggest, and then a few years back, General something joined in, and then this latest round was NEA, New Enterprise Associates.
Yep. So these things happened kind of along the way, and by the end, certainly by the end, but even I think the last thing I saw was that in aggregate, these outside investment firms had in excess of 50% of CCP's equity. So there's always a thing with venture cap types and whatnot, right? Hedge funds, where they want their return, and then they eventually want to get out onto the next big growth kind of thing that they can put the money into. But there's a big difference. Once they get over that 50% level, now they can kind of control a certain number of things, depending on what the agreements say and all that. But you probably don't want people that could sell you to have more than 50%.
right.
The thing is, between Novartis and General Catalyst, which was the other one, they have had over 50% for like a decade. The new thing is that when NEA came in, they did their special thing with VR, and then they were buying up the regular stock from individuals, and then after that, they started buying the stock from the employees and all the old investors until they got to a point where they were like at 74-75%.
I don't recall one. I recalled in aggregate them being in excess of 50. I don't recall, years back them being one having half the company.
I don't think any of them did, and I don't think any of them wound up doing it. It's just that I think that there was a special stock that you could call in. There's a special stock class that you could call in, and I think NEA called in their call, and I think that's what actually caused everything to go. I'm not sure, but that sounds, from everything I've read, that sounds to be the most likely case.
Yeah,
But
I mean, there's different stock classes of stock in companies, so easily could have been done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there was here or whatever, but anyways, regardless of the fact that of this has come up on a number of occasions over the years and whatnot, and far too many times we've speculated. When I say we, I mean people on this show as well as other people within the community, have speculated on the potential for a sale of CCP and what that could mean. My God, who knows how many countless hours were spent on this shit, because that's fucking Eve Media just speculates on everything, but. Hey, guess what? It finally freaking dropped the other day. I'm sitting there again. I told people out on the Twitch channel tonight I'm having like pain in my shoulder and neck and whatnot. And I couldn't get to sleep the other night. And just as I was about ready to doze off, I like looked over at my phone and I picked it up. And for some reason, I hit a button on it and it took me to Discord. And I see the CCP's been sold. And I'm like, what? And I sit up. I was up the whole freaking night, man. It was like I didn't end up going to sleep because I see this thing and I'm like, all right, this is news. This is one of those big bombshells that I think we've been potentially waiting for, potentially dreading, kind of all of these things, right? And what it might mean. And what we found out was that they were bought in their entirety, 100% people, by Pearl Abyss, the makers of Black Desert Online.
I honestly, when I saw that link, I just checked. I was like, okay, this has to be a bait link or something. But this is really happening?
Yeah, well, I thought it was a joke at first, and then I read it actually was happening. But is Pearl Abyss, is Black Desert Online their only game, or is it their only like?
I think they've got some mobile stuff.
I think it's their major game. And by the way, their mobile game, Black Desert Mobile, is doing so much better than Black Desert Online.
Really? I mean,
it's doing like 3 times the income as Black Desert Online.
I mean, the mobile market with games is weird to me because all of a sudden you open up the market to a ton of people that aren't actually, I guess, what you consider gamers, because they don't play PC games, they don't play console games, but they all, like, everyone's got a cell phone, and there's a bunch of people that play game apps on their phone that would never play other games. So it's like your market just massively increases. So it's even like the app games that seem crappy seem to do really well sometimes.
There's going to be a number of comments that I'm going to see out in the. I'm going to do things differently than CCP and their Ask Me Anything today, where they just kept answering the same fucking questions over and over again.
This is officially Ask Dirk Nothing.
Yeah, but I'm going to keep seeing comments out there that are along the lines, and it's not to call you out, Cypher, because other people say it too. Is that BDO is failing? Here's what I need to know. I need to know if that is the opinion of people inside Korea, which was the target market for the development of that game, or if it's just people on the outside who don't like where they've gone to, but the however many millions of players that are associated with that game in the Korean market or the Asian market over there also think that it's failing. They had $100 million in revenue last year for the company, right? They had I believe it was 60 million this year, but that in the first half of this year because of the release of Black Desert Online Mobile. I'm trying to get through my head when a lot of people who play EVE then make those comments about how this is a failing company.
Well, you've been dying for years.
BDO isn't doing great in the West. I mean, that's what you're really looking at, because most of the people who are making those comments are Euros or they're Americans, and they're not at all paying attention to the Korean market.
So they're failing for a market that the game and the pricing mechanism wasn't necessarily geared for.
It was an afterthought, really.
It was more of an afterthought, but it seems that they're highly successful in the market that they have developed the game for to begin with.
Yeah, I'd say
like they
that's,
know their market and they developed a game for it that seems to be successful in their market.
Yeah, I mean they did almost 11 million in revenue, Okay, I'm sorry, I can't do the conversion in my head. They did almost 11 billion won in revenue this last quarter, so they've been pretty steady since for the last year or so. So I don't see them falling anything, at least in the West. Yeah, they're not falling. I'm like looking at some of the charts for their from the last call that they had, and they're not falling. So they're not dying.
I mean, I'm just trying to understand what the whole idea of what failing means for a company nowadays, because, you know, I mean, like, companies do fail. Like, I mean, yeah, like you know, the whole thing. I mean, like, is Black Desert Online is failing? Is that the same as Eve is dying? I mean, do we have the same kind of thing going on? Or?
I think it's more
11 billion South Korean won is apparently just short of $10 million.
Yeah, because it's like they did 86.7 billion in Korea, they did 15.1 outside in Asia outside of Korea, and then they did almost 11 billion in the rest of the world.
Well, what you're saying is basically their first game did alright, Black Desert Online. Then they did a mobile that's doing great, and now they just bought CCP, which is just now starting with the mobile that has decent IP, it has backing from a lot of people, maybe thinking like, oh, well, the company itself is going to make us good money, and now we have this extra mobile stuff we can now pump out into South Korea, and have some standards in the States or anywhere else. But it gives it now thinking about that you say about the mobile game, it actually makes sense that, you know, now CCP have released it, and hey, we got a mobile game. Can you please buy us now?
Well, what I think we're looking at really is the same thing that has North American and Euro gamers saying BDO is a failure is exactly what Pearl Abyss is trying to correct here. We say it's a failure because it's not aimed at us and we don't understand it and we're not familiar with, you know, it's not our style of game. And they want to be able to market stuff to us. They want to be able to make stuff that we will buy because they want our money. I mean, you know, they're a company. It's what they do, is want our money.
I'm curious.
So,
sorry, go ahead. I thought you were done.
So, CCP is actually one of the earliest MMOs to go for microtransactions. I mean, we don't think of it too much as a leader in microtransactions now because every other game has totally eclipsed it. But the Plex was revolutionary when it came out.
Well, and yeah, and other games that follow. I mean, World of Warcraft now has the whatever tokens that it's basically a clone of Plex, like the same idea, but that came out way after Plex has been a thing. But the question I have with BDO real quick though is if it's failing in, you know, like the North America and Europe and stuff like that, and you said it's a game that isn't marketed to us. I've never played it, but it looks, I mean, it's obviously a fantasy MMO, kind of, you know, World of Warcraft EverQuest style, whatever that Final Fantasy one that was the MMO.
11 and 14.
Is it failing because it's just it might feel like another clone of those, and so it might feel just the same and people get bored of it quick, or is it failing because there's something different about the game that just isn't appealing to Europe and North America?
It's even grindier.
Oh,
it's
So-
I mean, the things I've heard is it's grindy, and then I sit there and think about people out there, you know, like, you know, with what we call the Eve grind and whatnot. But
So if you think Black Desert,
and then also the microtransaction aspect, or the you know pay to win aspect of things.
so Black Desert has. So I played closed beta, and when I was playing closed beta, you capped at like level 50 or 55, but it didn't stop there. It just went from like your XP going from like, you know, like 10. You need 10 XP to level, 20 XP. You know, 30, 50, whatever, like how it kind of gets as you level throughout any normal game, like WoW, Final Fantasy, whatever. But then once you got to like the cap, 50, 55, it was like exponential. So you could grind it as much as you wanted to get from like 50 to 51, but it didn't mean like it would be an easy take. And so, and then it also had
what people are saying is that you can't really look back at, would you say, closed beta or whatever, because the big problems, from what I understand, happened later on when they initiated a bunch of other things.
They still had pay to win in closed beta. Like, you, in order to like have a stealth, like cover your name, you could buy a cosmetic only in the cash shop to be able to cover up your name. So it's like, it's little things like that. That's not like Actually, I think their crafting now is to the point where you have to buy stuff in order to get the best gear possible, and if you don't, then you're left behind.
Well,
Well, it's either you buy this stuff or you have to have an army of alts in order to like do some stuff. It's almost sounds kind of like skill injectors.
Yeah.
One of the things I don't want to do tonight is something that I heard last night and then someplace else, is where when people are talking about this particular transaction of buying EVE Online, they keep going back to geez, I keep wanting to say Black and Decker Online, which by the way would be a really cool fucking game where you get to use like hand tools and shit. But,
what, like space engineers?
Yeah, like space engineers, exactly. But I wasn't going to do it in space, but whatever. Anyways, apparently it's already been made. Okay, fine. Black Desert Online, and they like keep going through the whole thing of how Black Desert Online plays, and I'm sitting there going, I really don't give a shit. I don't care how Black Desert Online plays. I don't care how Pearl Abyss has decided this game that they developed for the Korean and Asian markets, they were going to price in a way that is apparently okay with those markets over there because they are a bit different than Western markets. I want to know why people seem to think that just because this company bought CCP Games and they are going to be, at least as far as we know for now, an independent subsidiary company, meaning that CCP Games is going to continue to exist as a corporate entity, as a company, right? They're going to continue to exist as a company. They're going to, but they're just owned by this other company, and they're going to continue to develop EVE Online. Why all of a sudden we have to take every horrible thing that people think about this one game over there and say that's somehow all going to apply over here, as though what they were doing was they were buying CCP, stripping everything out of it, including EVE Online, and taking over development themselves. Everybody seems to fall back on this terrible fucking sense of logic, and I'm trying to get why.
It's two words: Electronic Arts.
No, I don't get that logic either though, Dirk. Like, I mean, when you become a dev of CCP, and like even the devs nowadays talk about how old their code is, like legacy code, you have POS code, you have this and that. I don't think anyone could really come in and attempt to take over EVE and do anything with it that would do anything beyond breaking it.
I mean,
and I don't mean breaking it as in pay-to-win transactions. I mean breaking it as in stuff literally not working. Like, you've seen CCP, like, hey, we're gonna implement this update, like, hey, a new chat thing, and then everything breaks, and they're like, I don't know why, like, let's try and fix it. Or like,
entire universe is in a station.
Right.
Yeah,
but
shit like
EA
that.
is the reason why people have that assumption, because EA does it all the damn time.
But in the same breath, everybody goes, I'm really glad EA didn't buy them.
Right. Right. But
okay, fine. EA didn't buy them. This is the way.
Right. But it's still that's the expectation they have when a company when a studio gets acquired. Well, and I just want to take a minute, because Unsung Cesspool brought up a point where he said that I'm quite mistaken, and Pearl Abyss tried very, very hard to market to the West with BDO. Yes, they did, but that's not what how the game was originally designed for. It was originally designed for the Korean market. Marketing to the West was an afterthought that they pushed very hard, but they don't get our style of preferred gameplay just like we don't get theirs, is the point I was trying to make earlier.
And real quick, Fact Juice, thanks for the sub, and also Scooter McCabe sub. I think it was 38 months.
Scooter.
A while back. But and I just lost my point. Fuck.
The point is, everybody's freaking out way too much when they shouldn't. There's absolutely no company that could buy CCP that everybody would be satisfied with. I mean,
right.
The community itself is so exuberant, or I can't even think of other words besides toxic. But we're not going to put up with crap. You have to think, if somebody's going to spend $500 million to buy a company, they're going to do a hell of a lot of research before they stick their money where their mouth is. So they have to realize that, CCP, EVE Online has a very niche group, and they get pissed off easily if you really screw and lie to them. So I think this whole thing that, like, they want a hands-off approach to it, they're probably like, man, we don't want to freaking touch that.
Well, and also,
and I get what Scooter McCabe is saying out there, okay, about how they're paying $425 million for this. They've got to be able to. EVE has plenty of areas to nickel and dime people. Hey, have you found that you've been starting to be groomed for that even before this happened? Okay, you might not think it was groomed in the same way because we're starting off at a way lower base, but guess what? That was already out there. Let's not blame this on another company and saying, and say this is just how it's going to go down. I don't understand the jumping to pure 100% negativity that some people out there are doing, rather than what we've all continued to do for the last, I don't know, for the last decade I've been here. We're more than willing to blame CCP for their own mistakes. What makes us think that now going into the future, that if they go and do something that we don't agree with, what are we going to do? We're going to say, oh, it's all because of Pearl Abyss?
Well, Pearl Abyss just
Well,
donated.
they did just donate $1, yeah.
Pearl Abyss just had 2 donations of $1 each. So
there we go.
I think
I'm
the
doing
other
a
thing people
shot.
are forgetting
Yeah,
too
that's
is
what
the
everyone's
fact.
about
comms now.
yeah,
So I think the other thing people are forgetting too is the fact that Pearl Abyss is also looking to leverage CCP's work. So obviously Pearl Abyss, like everyone's crying about Black Desert Online in the community and the lies Pearl Abyss gave to the community of Black Desert Online. But obviously they are looking to leverage that from CCP. And then even, I believe some of the comments were around like, the community team or joint development and things like that. Like obviously EVA's been around for 15 years. So any gaming company is like, holy shit, these people clearly know what they're doing. Maybe we can leverage that. So a lot of people are saying, oh, Pearl Abyss bought it just to turn around and implement microtransactions and cash out on EVE Online players. But the reality might be is they want EVE Online developers. They want that EVE Online leadership, but they can't get it. Like you can't hire Hilmar. You can't pull away some of the CCP devs. So if you acquire the company and then just like pulls people, like cross-train them or something like that, or leverage their expertise, you can easily do that.
Quite frankly, I don't believe any of that right off the top, and I will believe it when I start seeing it. Until I start seeing that, I'm not going to believe any of that.
And, and I see people out there going, oh, Dirk took the dirty money. He's been paid off. Hold on. You don't hear me saying this is the greatest fucking thing ever. I'm not even saying that this is necessarily positive in some way, okay? Because I believe that in any kind of acquisition like this, you are going to have something totally different than what is said at the beginning, okay? It might not be now, it might not be in a year, okay? But things change from the whole independent subsidiary type thing, hands-off approach, blah, 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 right? What I'm trying to figure out, and I understand that this is EVE Online, the wind blows and somebody bitches and moans, usually a whole bunch of somebody, okay? Because we're a bunch of bitches and moaners. We're a bunch of whiny little bitches.
There shouldn't be wind in space. Why is the wind blowing, Dirk?
However, that being said, I'm trying to figure out why. Look, I think that there are times in what it is that we, the people that are on shows like this and whatnot, get out there and talk and where we've actually got to take a moderate approach sometimes. Okay, there are times in the history where we've got to be able to sit there and say, hey, everybody, you don't need to be like the CSM who came out of a meeting with Hilmar and like. All 12 of them except Killa B, who was doing all 12. Anyways, most of them immediately tweeted, "I'm totally good with this. It all looks fine." Hilmar sounded excited. Okay, like you don't have to be on that end of the equation. Neither do you have to be on the "this is all going to hell in a handbasket. I'm quitting today. I'm done," because they're gonna microtransaction me to death.
Well, and the thing with the real quick, with the microtransactions. Skill injectors aside, those are something different. Because that can actually give you an advantage by paying money. But all the rest of the microtransactions are cosmetic. I don't care if a game has cosmetic microtransactions and stuff like that. And also,
I understand that if you have skins on your ships, that you do a lot better in PvP.
Well, the red ones go faster.
Yes.
You feel better about yourself, and that like transmits to the game.
Even skill injectors.
Your opponent is like intimidated.
Even skill injectors aren't in the same category as things like, World of Tanks gold ammo. It doesn't actually make you better than anyone else. It just gives you a different level of in-game skills. It doesn't affect your ability to play. It doesn't mean your guns do damage than somebody else's guns would. It just puts you on the same level of skill as somebody who's spent more time training. Which is a passive thing that you didn't have to put any effort into in the first place.
It's like pay to progress, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Pay to catch up.
I'm
progression
fine with...
still isn't like. I mean, the progression still isn't like, oh, you have a Titan now, therefore you're better than somebody in like a cruiser because if you don't know how that works or you're too stupid, it's like a frigate can kill you or something. I don't know.
How many purple laden Marauders have we seen die in high sec? that were blatant wallet warriors who didn't understand what the hell they were doing.
Yeah,
what I do want to do, like while I still have a semblance of mental control, is I want to make sure that we don't get into a debate over what pay to win is, okay? Because like again, this is a debate that has like occurred on numerous occasions over the years. I love this debate because most people are freaking dumb about it. And in EVE Online, you really have to get nuanced about what pay to win actually is. And we can literally spend the rest of the show doing this. So either we do pay to win and then we skip everything else, or whatever. We probably shouldn't do that.
But I mean, ultimately, like, I'm not even upset at all with this purchase. Maybe it's because I'm out of the loop on what this company. I don't have much experience with what Pearl Abyss does, but until I see the effects of what they end up possibly doing, I mean, I'm not going to get mad over something that hasn't happened yet and hasn't been done yet. Like, you can't get mad based on speculation that nothing's there.
Yeah, you don't need to biomass on day one. Let's wait and see what happens.
What if they take away jump drives? What if they tell Hilmar to tell, I don't know, somebody else like Fozzie or whatever to take away jump drives? What about that?
Well,
I mean, like all of these things, this fucking what if shit that everybody wants to roll through. It's just.
What if they bring back walking in stations?
I know.
They're not.
I was just saying.
I will say this: if that came up in the AMA today,
without walking in stations,
walking in
that came up in the
for
AMA
my spaceship.
That came up in the Ask Me Anything that was going on out there in the forums today. By the way, to my friends at CCP out there, like Avalon. Ask Me Anythings are really fucking horrible in the forums. You guys should like build an Ask Me Anything server or something like that.
Hold on.
Anyways, that being said, they did say when it got brought up about things like walking in stations and avatars, because everybody's like, wait, BDO has really cool fucking avatars, that maybe we'll have like some sort of like, avatar based thing again. And it was no, you know what? That's not on our agenda. We have basically written that off. Not going to happen.
What Guard said was there's no plans for it now.
No, and even more, they said, if you want some of the stuff that's in Black Desert Online, specifically voluptuous chests, they're like, there's websites for that.
Well, and also,
somebody asked about what happened to World of Darkness. World of Darkness got sold off 2 years ago. Never mind, not coming back. We don't have vampires in it yet.
Real quick.
Didn't Falcon say that he wanted to be able to do some orbital bombardment on some cities on?
He made a joke about that. Yes,
that was a joke.
Real quick with the AMA that CCP did with Garden Falcon and stuff. Avalon gave me a link that it's to a Twitter post he put out, which gives instructions to where you can look at just the answers from CCP from the AMA, and it filters out all the crap that.
Number one, it shouldn't be a link about how you can filter out the crap. You know what it should be at this point? After having said AMA, somebody should have put together an FAQ.
Reddit.
Somebody should have put together an FAQ of the most commonly asked questions regarding the. In fact, they shouldn't have even had an AMA. First, they should have put out an FAQ, and then they should have said, "And if you ask one of the questions from this FAQ, we're not answering it."
Actually,
the whole thing about microtransactions.
I think they should have taken something of a compromise approach there, Dirk, and had the AMA thread and told people, "Put your questions here," and then compiled the FAQ from that, put it out, and then start answering questions that weren't on the FAQ. That way, you're not. That way, they can see what the actual frequently asked questions are, by which ones everyone's asking again and again.
They're really, ultimately, they're really, 75% of them are basically the same questions, and they are all microtransaction based. Okay, they're either microtransaction based or they are based on the idea of will CCP be able to maintain creative control and all that kind of stuff, right?
I would hope that
I'm just annoyed that Falcon totally ignored my question. My very important question.
Your questions were kind of wordy and nuanced,
what was your question?
he wasn't able to
the
zip
later
through that.
Question, Dirk.
What
the later question.
Well, we all know Gevlin went to BDO. Did Pearl Abyss buy CCP just to try and get Falcon to get rid of Gevlin again?
That's way too typical for me.
I want to say that Gevlin left BDO because they were like corrupt and everything. Sort of like he was saying about CCP.
Is that what Gevlin does? He just goes to games and.
That's what he does. He goes around, he goes to a game, he gets excited, then he goes in and says all these people are corrupt.
Yeah.
So Misfit Agogo says Open Comms is going pay to win. We have to pay money in order to talk, and if you want to have your comment read, you have to donate, and we'll read it.
Oh man.
Yes.
Don't actually believe
We're not
that.
putting you
That was
behind a shot
sarcasm.
wall or anything
Not
like
a bad
that.
idea.
But if you go to our sister site,
100 plex to submit a question.
OpenCom's already pay to win, sponsored by Tito's.
Yes,
Yeah.
sponsored by-
Tito's-
Well, we're actually sponsored by Pearl Abyss. We got $2 from them, which I think we might see about 30 cents of that or something. But
yeah, I mean, look, I'm going to throw this out there. I'm going to throw this out there now. People can click on it and they can look at it later. I found that one of the most interesting, forget the Q&A that VentureBeat did with Hilmar. The one that they did with the CEO from Pearl Abyss, I did find interesting, mainly because honestly, as much as people might be thinking that Pearl Abyss wants to stick their hands in and fuck with this 15-year-old cash cow game over here, they're much more interested, it sounds like, in what CCP can provide outside of this cash cow. About the things that CCP does in terms of helping get involved
say
with
that
its
earlier?
community and things like that.
Well, I mean, Dirk,
What's
think
that?
about it this way.
oh, they
I mean,
sure
if we-
are, and
if-
hating on.
If we look at Pearl Abyss as one of the worst game dev groups out there, okay, which I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying that that's been one of the things that's been
The
thrown around,
Korean EA,
right? I just if
Happy
we look at it
birthday,
that way,
Ryan.
then the big question that the CCP can answer for them is how can you serially abuse and mistreat your player base for 15 years and still have them be rabidly loyal?
Well, and then it's also
Well,
not
because
only
cults
just
are like that.
Stockholm
Yeah.
effect or whatever they call
Well,
it.
it's
Stockholm
there's
syndrome.
been talks about expanding their IP and leasing out their IP to go do other things, but which CCP has never done. They developed their own. They
Thanks,
developed
Citrix.
their own VR games and all that sort of stuff. So the leasing, the probably lucrative is bit of just having IP and being able to expand it to do more things where they can milk the new player base for money instead of messing with us.
All right. Wait, who just did the? Syntax. Thanks for the 420 donation. And Ryan's birthday is tomorrow, so I'm gonna do a shot for Ro.
Whose birthday's tomorrow?
Ryan.
Bro,
Now, I'm just going to piggyback this on one of the things because I do think it's important because we have done shots for people who have left CCP and all that kind of shit. But I'm going to piggyback this on Ro's birthday. Happy birthday, Ro! With the fact that look, apparently, at least as of right now, okay, no promises in the future, people, but nobody's losing their fucking job from this.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Well,
Everybody's
speaking
lost
of
their job that they
CCP,
could.
Well, maybe they lost it a
rah,
little
rah,
while ago, but whatever. No more people are.
CCP rah 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 has also left. He left the day before this was announced, so I have no idea if that was
Really?
timing. I linked that.
shots.
Anyways,
But I mean, if you put in like a 2-week notice or whatever, like obviously it's unrelated.
Well, I mean,
Well, yeah, but don't they have to like put in like 2-month notices?
Probably, maybe. So like he may
yeah.
have had no
So he
clue.
totally didn't even know this was coming. Like the day before, he's like, he left, and then like he like woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and went, oh my god, CCP's getting sold. Damn.
yeah. I mean,
Damn, I wanted to go to that Korean game.
Probably
Well,
got hired by him.
yeah, he was applying to Pearl Abyss. No, well, the thing is, like, I mean, I don't know much about like corporate buyouts and stuff like that, but I assume it's not very common that when a company buys out another company, they don't just shit can all the employees and replace them with people that don't know what they're doing. They keep the people that are in there
Yep.
because they
Well-
know how the company's being run.
Having
Well-
just gone through that with my company, 100% accurate. So we sold part of our business to be administered by another company, and they are keeping all of the employees because those are subject matter experts. Although once their work transitions because they're like they're changing like admin systems or something like that, then obviously you can be expected to be let go. But it was this huge ordeal. They had like a 10 or 15-year contract plan, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so they need the current employees that worked for my company who have now transitioned to remain there. And so, I mean, like if you start seeing, like a lot of people are under the impression that after a year they should be let go. But I think as far as I understand, Pearl Abyss and CCP, that's not the expectation.
I just
So, but
want to
like
let
that's
everybody
a
know
real life
that.
example.
Just want to let everybody know that Mike Azariah, former CSM, representative, and I don't know, probably candidate for the 2019 and 2020 elections, is here. What's up, Mike?
Hey,
I'm
Mike.
thinking about it. Hey guys, I'm doing this on a phone, so I'm not used to this. If I come lock on and off, that's my bad.
You sound really clear. I got to be honest. What kind of phone is that?
I have an Asus Zen Laser.
Asus makes phones?
Wow.
Since
I don't know,
when?
but apparently they make really good fucking microphones in those phones. So.
Damn. Yeah, that does sound really clear. I never would have guessed you were on a phone.
Anyways, Mike, you know,
Yeah,
we're
well-
obviously talking about the CCP getting bought by. Does anybody think that some of the feedback out there on the negative side of the community out there is like mad because it's the Koreans? Would they have been like?
I would hope
they have
not.
been happier if it was like, you know, somebody from a different nation or something like that? Is any part of
No,
this
I
like?
kinda like
Is
the
any part of
Gangnam
this dark
Style.
and nationalist?
No, I mean, having Koreans though will definitely mean a better tournament scene for EVE Online. So I'm really excited for that aspect when we bring in some like Korean MLG professional pro gamers instead of these losers that we have like in PL and whatnot trying to fly AT ships.
Burn.
Well, I think
Sick
I
burn.
think they would have been happier if it had been Paradox, but I don't think that's because of nationality.
What about Naughty Dog?
Part
Naughty Dog's good.
part of the worry that I have does have to do with the nationality. Now, I'm probably going to sound like a bloody racist, but it's the culture determines the culture of the gaming group. For example, CCP is heavily influenced by it coming out of Iceland. They don't know how to say sorry or, you know, we blew it, we'll fix it. It's more like we'll just Viking on. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the clash between Icelandic culture and Korean grind culture is going to be, where it's work hard, you get it, work harder, you get more.
I think that there are. I'm going to agree with you on the sense. I think that there are cultural issues. I think that those are associated to their particular market over there, not whether or not they know how to make a game that is targeted at something other than their more local market, right? I mean, you know, the same way for CCP. If CCP was going to, what if this was okay? I'm going to throw this out there. What if this was reversed? What if CCP being so successful in like the game that it had, like had money to throw around and it bought Black Desert Online, it bought Pearl Abyss, right? Would the Pearl Abyss people be over there going, they don't know our fucking market. They don't. Oh my God, what we're gonna have a subscriber model that like, you know, has it like where we just pay for skins. I want to be able to do this. Like, I feel like there'd be this kind of reverse shitting on who buys your company no matter what.
Well, it's this culture. I mean, you're gonna shit on. Everybody shits on everybody for whatever minor reason it is. It's kind of like just growing into that more.
I mean, I look at this, and because of the cultural differences and everything, I'm thinking that as long as EVE Online's making a set amount of money every month or every quarter or whatever, that Pearl Abyss is just gonna say, "Hey, you're doing well. We're not gonna touch what's not broken."
Yeah, I mean,
I really wonder, even if CCP Games and their EVE Online product that was under that was not doing as well as they thought, management thinks that it should be, right? That they would come in and go, you need to make these changes, as opposed to you need to make changes that fix this particular line item on the budget. Right? Like
that would make more sense.
Like, do people really think that they're going to come in there and go, you know what you need to do? We need more revenue, so you need to throw in some gold fucking ammo.
Cat ears. Everyone needs cat ears.
I was
Cat ears
gonna say, I was like, we might actually get the cat ear skins.
Yeah. You know, it's
Reddit Eve actually had a picture of a Titan with cat ears and whiskers.
Oh man.
There's a Hello Kitty Kestrel as well.
I get how easy it is to, like, you know, kind of go off the deep end with these things. And believe me, I promise everybody, I will drink a fucking half bottle of Tito's, because I don't need a whole bottle anymore, but a half bottle of Tito's that night, go completely off the fucking deep end if this thing goes wrong. If it goes in the direction that the worst of us speculate that it might, okay? But I'd rather wait until that time.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I would drink that same half bottle of Tito's, okay, and go on a freaking rant just because of what just because of the mistakes CCP themselves have made over the years. I'm not going to sit there and like
foreigners to screw it up.
All of a sudden, a foreign company buys CCP games, and what are we going to do? We're going to pretend that for the last decade we haven't talked about the mistakes that CCP themselves have made. Do they get a free pass on all of that now because, well, outsiders are buying the company?
Wait. Instead of that, why don't we just like, if CCP is not implementing balance changes or fixing this or fixing that, why would we continue to complain to CCP? Why not go to Pearl Abyss and be like, hey, we're gamers.
I'm going directly to Pearl Abyss.
You know, your developer over here, CCP, they're working independently, but we really want to see these changes, and if you don't implement them, we're going to leave. And then we use Big Daddy Pearl Abyss to get what we want from CCP.
You know, the question that I have is, why in the world would, you have this company, and they've just bought a new company and they got new toys to play with. Why do they want to play with the 15-year-old toy that's all, they're called EVE Online, it's all beat up and everything, when there's 2 brand new mobile games that are about to come out that they could put their fingers in and make better?
And Project Nova.
Mobile games?
Yeah, there's 2 games.
Yeah,
Pearl
Abyss has a really good mobile game setup already, right?
Well,
like,
I'm not saying they don't. I don't play.
Like, why would they not be like, oh man, we have this mobile game and now we get these 2 free ones that development has already been happening on?
Yeah, they're going to want to fiddle with the
But also
games.
remember how CCP's been doing that, right? CCP's been outsourcing development of those mobile things, as far as I know. Maybe what they're seeing is, wow, you know what? This company has some really good ideas, but they're outsourcing this shit. But we have a mobile place inside that we could let. Look, there's fucking synergies.
Yeah, but the thing
there is one thing that you got to take into account, though, about running to daddy. Sorry, I'm referring back to something earlier. Is BDO and Pearl Abyss have a poor reputation for responding to any player's complaints. It's one of the major differences between in the DNA between the 2 games that are now trying to cross-pollinate.
But we're not going to be talking directly to PA.
They haven't met EVE players yet. No, I meant when you bypass CCP because they're not listening or something. They haven't met EVE players yet, so they don't know our wrath.
But something tells me that bypassing CCP like that. I mean, as jokey as it is, like that's not going to work. They don't.
Obviously not, but it's funny to talk about.
Yeah,
it is fun to stream like that. Yeah. There's so many companies, just in all industries. You have acquisitions. Like, was it CVS bought, a healthcare system? They own them. But they're not going to deal with it. They don't know.
You do have those exceptions.
I mean, if you
Disney bought Star Wars and fucking ruined it, so there's that.
Well, I mean, even if you look at like Twitch is owned by Amazon, and there have been plenty of people saying, "Well, yeah, Twitch is doing this. I'm gonna go complain to so and so and Amazon," and then like literally nothing happens. Like Twitch is still Twitch is still doing whatever the heck it wants.
Dianco says Pearl Abyss is going to put their own people in Iceland. No,
yeah,
you're thinking of the North Korean company that might have bought CCP games. This is the South Korean company.
Yeah, Pearl Abyss.
They're going to put people in
their employees
in
London. Stick them in Iceland.
Yeah, so the people demoted from PA are going to be sent to Iceland. Like, oh, you're going to go work over there.
I got to be honest. This year, we've got like eVegas coming up soon. We've got eVegas coming up a week after this transaction closes. Actually, this transaction closes on October 12th, and then eVegas officially opens on October 19th. I've heard that representatives of this company were actually at FanFest. I'm going to assume that they can make it to like Las Vegas to come to that. So we're going to meet some of them out there. But I'm really looking forward to maybe in 2019 FanFest DMZ. Who people say FanFest Seoul and stuff like that, but come on, where would we EVE players want to have a FanFest in Korea? It'd be right at the DMZ.
Is the DMZ still a thing?
Starting World War III.
Seoul's only 6 miles from the DMZ. You can just take a side trip there.
Well, I mean, like now the war's technically over. Finally, is that DMZ going to stay a thing, or are they going to eventually get rid of that?
I don't think the war's done. It's never.
Didn't they sign an actual treaty like Kim Jong Un?
No.
Somebody's saying, will eVegas possibly be the last? No, because what we were told last year.
They confirmed it in 2019 already. Like...
Okay. last year at Eve Vegas, right? They sat there and they said there won't be an Eve Fan Fest in Iceland in 2019. Okay, so at the 2017 Eve Vegas, they told everybody there won't be a Fan Fest in Iceland in 2019. Okay, they didn't tell us why, but whatever. We found out they didn't book the fucking Harpa, but anyways, whatever. But there would be multiple fan fests around the world. Eve Vegas being one of them, Eve Amsterdam, Eve Down Under. These are all fan fest type things. Okay, and then we've talked about it here. The whole fan fest East Coast U.S., which we still don't know where it's going to be, but it's probably going to be Orlando. There are some people speculating out there, and this is where literally. I got into one of these fucking conversations with a real individual last night. Okay, like somebody I actually think highly of. Okay, and he was totally bent on the whole thing of the whole reason why the whole Fan Fest 2019 in Reykjavik was canceled because they knew this was coming. And I'm like, and that the Koreans weren't going to pay for it. And it's like, oh my fucking god. So today in the AMA, one of the things of some value that did come out of that was the fact that one of the things that Philanderer Associates. What the hell does PA mean now? Anyways, okay. Pearl Abyss. Okay. Likes is the fact that they like the way that Eve engages its community. They were at FanFest. They think these things are interesting in how you actually engage a community to be sticky, like Eve's community is.
Yeah, but Dirk, there's one thing that I think you're forgetting, and that is that there were a lot of suitors that wanted to buy Eve Online. And so, therefore, you wouldn't want to commit to something that major, like renting out the Harpa, because I understand. I hear that's expensive. I'm not sure, but if you don't know who you're selling to, then you may not want to commit.
Well, of course you commit because it just ends up going with the rental agreement that you have with the company you're selling to. Believe me, at $425 million, I'm sure they're not sitting there going, "Oh, but you guys rented the Harpa that year."
We get our deposit back?
Spent way too much.
You never. I don't know
I'm sure that
so.
at this point, with Hilmar and what he's going to be taking out of this deal, he'd have been like, "Fine, I got the Harpa. We're covered. Can we do this?
Well,
can I sign?"
He's only getting $27 million out of this. That's not enough.
It's pretty good for Hilmar.
Yeah, it's not bad. You know what? Also, I think is interesting. It's like, what do you think about it? How many other games have group get-togethers across the country? Like we have Eve, you have World of Warcraft, they have their BlizzCon, but are there really any other ones that get that many get-togethers of almost 1,000 people that come hang out?
There's a League of Legends one.
Yeah, well, does that count?
Yeah, there's a League of Legends one, and then there was another one I saw.
Don't forget Star Citizen.
But for the amount of games, it's still a small amount. So
yeah, I thought they always just associate with the other like TwitchCon and the other big cons that.
For League, there's Summoner Con. There was another one I saw recently in China that was also called China Fan Fest, but I forget what that was about. That might have been anime related or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Shooter McLeod's is saying Warframe has TennaCon.
Okay, so I don't play that many other games, so maybe I'm not as versed in all these other cons. But it's like, if you have a game that you build up and you want to see how other people do it, and with meetings with other fellow players, and somebody has been doing it for how many years now, they have probably a good handle of it.
Well, I would like one of you here because I feel like I've just done this too many fucking times. I want one of you to address the darker clouds. I thought you guys would be more realistic about this.
I was just
You're delusional if you think changes are not coming. Don't hide your heads in the sand. This is going to be a really bumpy ride, big culture clash.
Okay, so real quick, I was actually just going to answer this.
I'm not worried.
We're not saying changes aren't coming. We're saying that until changes come, and depending on what those changes are, reacting to them now when they haven't happened is a little ridiculous. So when those changes do come, then we'll see what they are. Are they good changes, bad changes, and we'll react in kind. But you can't get pissed about something that hasn't happened because it hasn't happened yet. You can speculate, but you can't get mad over something that I mean, I don't know how else to say.
Okay, in answer for Dirk, some of the worries I have seen people saying are how long before Pearl Abyss starts putting its hand in the cookie jar and trying to get more cookies out of it. Well, how fast till they start playing with the next shop or starting to think about, we'll give you a bigger cargo hold on your venture if you buy the golden venture, that sort of thing. Not necessarily golden ammo, but better gear, better storage, that sort of stuff. That's one fear I'm seeing from people. Another is what happens if CCP doesn't produce fast enough? Are they just going to flog it on the market again or break it for parts? Something that companies do when they do this corporate buyout is they buy it out and then they kill it because it was competition for them in the first place. Third one is what I've already said, is just the culture clash of how well are they going to get along with the people that we know and have dealt with over the years. Like, you know, I know Fozzie, I know Guard and Falcon. I almost use their real names, but I try not to do that too often. But I know these guys, and I don't want to see them hung out to dry just because their boss sold the company to somebody else. So it's, will we lose what Eve is right now to a foreign investor? And those are some of the big worries.
Well, what if it was a domestic investor? Would we be okay then? No. Okay. I totally hear those. Okay. Where were these same players over the years when a lot of these similar questions, okay, were coming up regarding CCP games and EVE Online? We're casting them out there at this other entity when these are things that you should be worried about regardless of who owns this game. CCP Games never committed to you that nothing would ever change about this game, and yet we know that
all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yet we know that the gaming industry has changed, and CCP has adapted to some of those changes when they could. Okay, they have trickled them in at times. They have caused players that used to be really hardcore against a bunch of things to actually kind of realize and adapt to the new situation and things. But forget that. Let's just talk about changes to the game. Any change that happens, we should all be like, hey, wait a second, let me evaluate that based on whether or not I think that fits and whether or not I want to continue to play this game. Let's not pretend that all of the bad things are coming and therefore I should quit now. Adapt to it the same way you have with everything else, which is if they put in jump fatigue, maybe you want to quit. Maybe you want to say, you know what, that doesn't make me want to quit.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I think
let's not act like this is the worst thing that could have happened. I mean, I can think of at least three different things that would have made the EVE player base as a whole more upset. First, the venture capitalists announced that they themselves were just dismantling CCP and selling it off for parts, because they could have done that. Second, if they'd sold it to EA. Third, if the name of the company that bought it was the Matani Media.
What if the Matani Media had kickstarted it and bought CCP?
Damn.
that's next level tinfoil
Absolute
right there.
disaster.
That's how you really get content in game.
You really don't want Eve players owning Eve. Like if you
Well-
see anyway the direction of some of these like recommendations and like shit people say.
Well, I think here's my kind of guess is the darker side. They're gonna break the promise. They're gonna meddle, introduce stuff, and then the player base is gonna just go berserk, and they're gonna realize how berserk EVE the community can get over some stupid changes. I mean, they have Monocle Gate, which is, I mean, we're talking about with microtransactions. That us, I think, as a whole, is even worse than the what the Monocle Gate and Greed is Good era of anger. That's my opinion.
and, Okay, so I did see a repost from Darker Clouds. He wasn't saying that he was upset or mad. It was what he was getting at was that based on the track record of the purchaser, it's a cause for concern. It's fine to be concerned or worried, but I mean, I guess what we're getting at is the people that are flipping their shit and going off the wall.
It's totally appropriate
unwarranted
to be wary at this point, but
Skeptical.
there's a lot of people out there who are actively
totally
freaking out, and that's a bit premature.
Yeah, be skeptical. Everybody should be. Like, nobody should be towing some line of like, I heard Hilmar was happy, therefore I am too, or like, any of that shit, right? You also shouldn't be like, completely Reddit freaking indignant, anyways, a word I can't like say right now. Anyways, you shouldn't be fucking Reddit indignant about like, oh my god, it's all gonna fucking die, because it's like nobody knows. Maybe it will. Here's the thing I hate about the people who are way out on the fucking negative side. They've really only got upside in what it is they're saying. Because if they're right, then they can say that they were right. But it's kind of really bad, right? But if they're wrong, then they still end up with apparently the game that they're still like okay with, but they'll probably bitch for some other reason, like about like Age of Sovereignty or how long citadels are taking, or any of the other numerous things that we bitch about from week to week.
Well, sure, that's why it's great.
But they still won't be like, oh well, at least it didn't fail as bad as it like I thought it might have.
Like Dust 514.
Me and Harry, if Eve dies, we all go to World of Tanks or Warships and start up again. You mean the place that sells gold ammo?
The exact opposite.
Did you literally use one of the most monetizing freaking bullshit games out there?
Yeah, let's go to Albion Online and go and play for CCP Grayscale.
You know, I went ahead. I was at FanFest when the red wedding happened at FanFest for us 514 guys. I felt sorry for those guys, and they were like devastated. This isn't even close. Those guys went through.
Well, I mean, that was called the red wedding.
Could you imagine? And you know what? I will never. Now that you bring that up, Noisy, I will never forgive CCP for not announcing this when we were at Vegas. Maybe during the pub crawl.
No,
how did we not get our own red wedding in Vegas?
Well, it would have had to be
people wandering around wondering why all these Koreans are with us.
Yeah, it would have had to been at the Dre's party, because not everyone goes on the pub crawl, but almost everyone's at the Dre's party. And so, like,
no, it'll be the opening ceremony. Hilmar comes on stage. By the way, we're being
No. At the Dre's party, Permaband comes up on stage
as a
dressed like K-pop girls. Okay.
Oh man!
Guard walks to the front of the stage and says, "I want to bring my man Hilmar out here," and then he just lays it out on everybody.
Jeez, can you imagine?
Oh man,
would have been so.
At Vegas last year, I thought Hilmar was going to announce his retirement because he did not look like a happy camper.
So no, give me the money or I cut your head off.
Vegas last year is right before all the layoffs happened, so
yeah, it was right before the layoffs. We now know that in hindsight, right?
Right.
But he did look very low energy. He looked very. I'm not saying that, and anyways.
And that's actually something that's got me kind of cautiously optimistic about all this. Is that if you remember, like Amsterdam after Vegas last year, by the reports of everybody who went, was that Guard looked like he'd basically been repeatedly punched in the nuts. And Guard's upbeat about this. And I'm not saying that anybody should be saying, oh, well, Guard's fine, everything's going to be great. But the people whose opinion I generally tend to respect on these things seem to be upbeat. So I'm going to be cautiously optimistic.
I mean, it's a safe bet to be. I mean, it's not like we're worrying about, things just going straight down the shitter that right way, could rein in stuff like oh, we're gonna do 4-dimensional gaming systems, and like no Hilmar, let's just stick to what we're good at.
There were a lot of good questions. There were all right. Let me rephrase. There were some good questions out there on today's AMA. One of them. I don't think it asked it the right way, but it was about Hilmar and whether or not Hilmar was going to be contractually tied in for any specific period of time. Look, these are questions that are not going to be answered in an AMA on the freaking EVE Online forums. There were a lot of questions that were associated with CCP, the company itself, that probably weren't going to be answered on the EVE Online, the game, the product forums. And nor do we have really the right to know, okay? But that is a good question about whether or not Hilmar, okay, because some people out there that, think that Hilmar coming back with a presence because it fixed a piece of PI or whatever is like a really big fucking deal. But it would be interesting to know how long he is tied in for with this whole thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's probably gonna want to stick around for a little bit. I doubt they're gonna release the exact contract details for that stuff, but seeing that, who's the Eve executive producer now these days? Since didn't what's her name leave?
CCP Manbjorn. Which you know what? Thank you so much for that fucking lead-in.
Yeah, just serve
on
that right
Sunday. On Sunday on Talking in Stations. Okay, I've been working on this for a few weeks, and it just happened to happen the Sunday following this announcement. We've got the new executive producer, CCP Manbjorn. We've got the new creative director, CCP Berger. And we have CCP Falcon, who we added in last minute because of the recent news. So we're going to introduce these folks out to the Eve community. And as a part of it now, we are going to be talking about how this may affect or not the development of EVE Online going forward. So Sunday, 1600 on this channel, Talking in Stations with those guys.
Don't downplay it, Dirk. This has been Matterall's plan all along. He knew about this happening months in advance.
You know some of these CCP appearances on Matterall's show, they come right after something big breaks. I think Matterall knows people.
Yeah, with his power,
I
cannot
think
save his
CCP announces things ahead of when they're already going on Talking and Savings.
As much as CCP won't come on this show, I'm usually the one responsible for booking those. I did Team Tech, I did Team Security, I did these. I think because one of the things that bothered me was the fact that there were like a number of articles out there introducing the new executive producer, like, out in the written media and things like that, but there really hadn't been anything that put a face and a voice to kind of, this person that took over for the the saint-hooded, CCP Seagull. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, it's a time. And I wanted it to happen before Vegas. I wanted this person to like be out there and kind of like talk before Vegas happened, so that myself and viewers would maybe feel more comfortable walking up to this person that they feel as though they've learned a little something about.
Is he going to be at Vegas?
Well, shit. Now that you asked that question, it makes me wonder. But I'm
We'll
hoping
find
that
out
the
on Sunday.
executive producer of EVE Online will be at EVE Vegas.
Because I haven't seen anything from him. I mean, I haven't seen anything from CCP beyond like the normal devs that we interact with. Like he hasn't been on a video like Seagull usually was. He hasn't written a dev blog. So I'm curious to see if he'll go to Vegas, if we can interact.
I don't know. Either way, this Sunday we're going to talk to him. I'll ask him. I'll write that down on my little ask questions to the new executive producer thing. Because one of them was a question that somebody had about blah blah blah. Are Fan Fest still going to be a thing? So I'll put your question in there too.
Seagull, when she took over, or when she burst on the scene at FanFest, she was like really scared and quiet and everything. And even though that Manbjorn's been like, I think, the senior producer for 4 years, you really don't know anything about him.
Mystery
That's
man.
True. Oh yeah, that's the other game I was trying to remember from the other Korean country.
Arcade.
Arcade, yeah.
Fuck
Arcade.
Arcade.
I always call it Arcade, but
Arcade.
everyone else around me said Arcade for so long that I adopted and started saying that, and I don't like it. But
All right, you ready for a shot?
yeah.
Yay.
Shot.
What are we going to do with it though?
Can we do it so
You know what?
that
You know
I'm
what? Fuck
finally
it. Fuck
done
it.
with work? I can
Yep.
stay
Okay.
at home.
We'll do
and-
that. And I'm going to piggyback that with
Okay.
to our new Korean overlords, who I hope after seeing some of that K-pop stuff, after having not been exposed to it all that
pretty
much, okay. You know what? I'm hoping that we can I hope that Permaband goes a little K-pop-ish. I hope that maybe we get a little more K-pop influence in EVE Online.
Maybe improve their choreography.
It's not it's not like it's not cute and everything. I mean, whatever. Anyways, shots. All right.
That's
Final kind of thoughts on the buyout.
wait and
Watch
see.
and
gotta-
see.
you
Wait
gotta
and
wait and
see.
see.
Don't sell all your shit yet.
If you're quitting, please contract them to rain chocolate in game.
I mean, I'm just wondering.
and-
She took my idea.
And if you're quitting and giving Brisk your Titan, then I think that he needs to give a Marauder to me.
The other thing I was gonna question is apparently all the people that know a lot more about what's the Abyss Pearl Abyss. I'm still getting used to that name. But the Pearl Abyss, like, so what's this time frame, like doomsday time frame that everyone's thinking of? Like, are they saying like, oh, it's gonna take 6 months, a year, a few months? Like, how long until supposedly the game is wrecked?
19.
Oh man, that's a good.
Well, there's not a 19-month. Or what would that be? That would be July of the next year.
Yeah, no. That
So
would
July
be,
20, July 2020.
Yeah, something like that.
Who knows? They don't fucking know. This is like Reddit and every obscure other motherfucker out there that just keeps like saying shit about like how bad everything can be.
It's like people saying goons are too big and nobody can stop us.
5 years. 5 years is what someone was saying.
But goons are too big, and the only way that they're gonna like die is from internal conflict, like what happened during the Casino War. That started off as a internal conflict. So May.
Although I do wish there were a few people out there who were at least kind of like out on the positive side, right? That's got a really thin fucking tail out on the this will be good kind of side of the bell curve,
maybe
right?
Because they're obviously paid off.
Maybe we'll get a 64-day
Because it's
client.
EVE players, Dirk, and everything will suck.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for my payoff to say it's gonna be good. Because if I want my money, man.
I mean,
Where's my
all I'm
money?
asking for is that people, you don't hear this out of me often. Maintain a level of fucking moderation. How hard can it be?
It's open comms. We have no moderation.
No, but
here.
like I don't even mean like
Dirk.
during the show. It's like look, I don't have a whole lot of fucking moderation in my life. I got to be fucking honest. But these are one of those moments where I sit there and go, all right, got to be fucking moderate here. You know, it's like, got to realize that it's probably not going to be as good as some people think, but it's certainly not going to be as bad as some people think. And if it is, we will have all, look at my hand, all of us, we will have thrown in the towel by then.
Whatever, Dirk. I just want maid outfits for my Tristan. Like, come the fuck on. If that means I have to pay $200 a month for it, I will.
We will have multiple shows on open comms, you know, and like even like in a lesser degree, like talking stations, because like they don't get all angry and combative over there, but like here we will totally call shit the fuck out if we see it.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
true of any
Yeah,
player
Dirk,
group in
you should-
EVE.
You should be more mellow and laid back and even
But for
like
now,
Adderall like that.
we've got to earn some karma by being like, hey, let's be the voice of moderation. Not booze, like completely get yourself
we need
fucking
to
drunk,
do-
but still remain moderate.
I think we need to do more shots, and then you can take that statement back.
No. Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's it. Get Dirk drunk.
I'm
and
trying.
then you'll be
I'm
the voice of
trying. I'm
moderation.
trying to compel the people out in the community, just like for right now. Once we begin to see shit break down, right? And I'm not talking about whether or not they don't get like jump bridges done by the time they said it was, or you know any of that shit, right? Once we begin to see things out there that we could legitimately not just blame on a dumbass dev for being dumb, but what feels like the heavy corporate hand of Korean business pushing down on them, I'll be there with you. I will absolutely fucking fight till the bloody end.
But what if that oppression in the form of pink skins for every ship?
What's
I
wrong
can't
with
fight
that?
against pink
Didn't
skins.
they just
There are
do
so many
pink
EVE players
skins
that
for
want
every
pink
ship?
skins.
There's 3 different variations
would-
of pink skins. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
I was gonna say if they
Shots
added
to
pink,
pink skins.
if they added pink skins, that'd
Shots
probably just
to
be
Chief
player
Jimmy.
retention.
We're going to Vegas. I got a fucking pink skin for you, but we're gonna move on. I don't know. What are we gonna move on to though?
The North?
Oh yes, I did
Big
want to
X.
hear. I did want to hear because my man Hyper Viper is here. And this keeps getting fucked up, dude. Every time I want you to come on, something happens that is like a newsworthy thing that like just cockblock shit. Like, yeah, but whatever. Tell me about what's going on in the war on the North. Like, is there headway being made other than the like things like iHubs and shit that are dying?
So it's been kind of been light. I mean, to be honest, it's kind of been going back and forth. Obviously, as you know, one of the strategies that CO2 has been using on our siege of Fade is Sino Jammers, and just the way the regions are set up, there's choke points. So you set everybody there, and like, well, why do we have to jump in there? You jump in there, it's going to be very painful. So although as much as we can, well, you know, not want to give headway to the enemy. So what's actually been very progressive about this week is we've punched a number of holes in their constellations. So for people that aren't as familiar or haven't had to deal with the wonders of Fozzie Sov, is after you reinforce a structure, it spawns nodes in the constellation. So you have to go to these different nodes and entosis using magical beams at it to capture nodes, to capture enough to then either destroy or save the structure. So it was very difficult because of a lot of choke points. But earlier this week and the middle of this week, we punched a few holes in the killed a few iHubs in the constellations of where there's the two keep stars, DW-TAC, which is the CO2 main staging system, and DO6H, which is all of the north, the GOTG and NC dot Keepstar, which formerly was Darkness, got transferred to them there. So we put about 3 holes in that.
Who?
The Keepstar originally was under Darkness Holdings, but with all the flipping and corporations leaving in the GOGG, Darkness, Chaos Theories, formerly MOA, NC Dot didn't want to take a risk and told basically Sort that he had to transfer the Keepstar to them to ensure that they wouldn't get locked out of it. So anyways, the Imperium Super Titan fleet nearby, they could jam it and make it very difficult to get us in. Because where the 2 main Keepstars are, we had broken 2 major iHubs that give us access, so we can use Sino modules to get in. And then earlier, 2 days ago, we went after the DW-TAC infrastructure hub, which allows them to Sino jam the system, so we can't jump in and out of there. We end up destroying 150 or 160 billion of the North's ships and losing only 40 and killing the iHub, which was promptly the Reavers fleet in the USTZ went in and then reinforced the CO2 main staging Keepstar tomorrow to its armor timer. So that's the major.
I kind of question, like, you know, what's going on there with DOS, you know, from the standpoint of, like, it was a few days ago that the other GigX got banned, and now I'm wondering if like all of a sudden iHubs are falling and like Keepstars are being reinforced and evacuations are happening. And I'm like, holy shit, was he playing everybody's account up there?
Well, he obviously, as certain personalities in Eve, I was one to think of. Maybe Thomas Leader, I don't know, but the Garnish, a huge amount, yeah, Elo is a perfect example. They take out a fleet, everybody wants to fly with them. Now, obviously, DO2 is GigX. You know, 3 to 4 times the amount more people in its fleets than other random FC and
the Da Vinci is
CO2.
a strong presence.
Yeah, Da Vinci is still good, but it's not the GigX.
Well, maybe now they can just go. Maybe now they just have to settle for a GigX.
Yeah, or the GigX Sun. But I mean, that's,
Son of GigX.
That's obviously.
And what was funny was we were talking before the show tonight about how like we were going to start off the show with how CCP Games was bought by an unnamed Serbian.
Yeah. But just since the ban, honestly, it really has been. It started accelerating. Just people weren't fleeing up. Just demoralized. I mean, even on both sides. I mean, fatigue is setting in with how long the war's been going. Luckily for Imperium members, they can rat at the same time. But can you imagine other people in the north they're burnt out. They can't do anything fun. They can't gain more wealth. Can't get anything nice without always looking behind their back. So
and there's enough of us that we can have half of the Imperium still saying, "I'm going to sit this one out and rat," and still field like 5 fleets.
Can I ask a really fucking dumb question? I know this is dumb. I'm sure it's been answered somewhere before. Okay.
Yeah,
but
that's a dumb question.
Go for it, Dirk.
Why did CO2 come to Pureblind?
You know, I don't know. That's one of the interesting questions. Even
like, why not Cobalt Edge or some place that was just if you're gonna reform, if you're gonna get your shit together and whatnot and do all that, why would you come be the meat shield of the thing that somebody wants to get past and into their territory? but like you're still on the list.
Well, I think it's also a huge thing is obviously the whole deal where actually X-Death did all that space to Horde without even payments or who knows. The fact that that happened was probably the first stepping stone. So they're leaving. GOTG obviously needs somebody to help there, and obviously the war wasn't as intense as it is now when CO2 came over there.
I mean, there's people they're saying they wanted content, and it's like, well, damn, you fucking went right into Harlem and said, yeah, give me some.
It's like
it's like
you like if the buffer. You look in the regions, you're like, okay, there's the Imperium, and there's the North, and then we're us CO2. We betrayed Imperium in the middle of a big war. Let's just go stick between those two and see what happens. It doesn't make sense unless they wanted content and we're not expecting us to come after them and just totally basically let them get settled and then just evict our revenge on them.
I mean, because I'm gonna be honest, I don't like it when I see I don't like it when I see combat effective alliances or things like that out there. Yeah, like who get completely buried into the ground, despite what all of the bad things are and the bad blood and all that kind of shit. It's like it's EVE Online. I don't want to lose groups out there that are actual fucking players in the game and whatnot. And then they move there, and I'm like, well, what the fuck? Why would you put yourself right in the face of it? So like I didn't understand why it all went down.
Seriously, Dirk, educated guess. It's ego. We all know what a proud man Gigax is. I'm willing to bet somebody came to him and said,
I don't know why
Horde couldn't hold this space. You guys can.
Wasn't Gigax perma-banned like a year ago, though?
Mm-hmm.
Well, hold on.
As a transition, Dirk, I prepped you for it. Take it.
No, I'm just saying, you say that, but things happened 6 months or 7 months later, and then what we hear the other day is that members of the Gigax family were also banned, and
Oh, no.
it's like there's a whole bunch of shit going on. You know what I mean? It's like this is what we were joking about with the whole son of Gigax thing. It's like it's like sometimes when you knock somebody out, another family member steps forward.
Well, I mean, some of those things is
mafia.
This is how the whole Osama bin Laden family. We're all worried about cousins and shit.
Yeah, the brother comes for you and you kill him, and then it's like the uncle, and then you kill him, and it's just a family feud.
People are talking about why didn't they ban him? Right when he started back. Why are they waiting until now? I was like, well, you can't. He's not going to advertise in Cheetah Local in game says I am the Gigax. I was banned. I'm playing again. Thank you, CCP. I mean, he's not going to hide it. So be produced. Which obviously you've seen leaks on Reddit of people might be a part of the Imperium leaking out comms and him talking about how he's taking the fleets out and you guys need to do blah blah blah, the North are pussies and all this sort of stuff. And it probably took a bunch of time, finally enough evidence put up and okay, we can do without a shadow of doubt ban him. And then all CO2 flips their shit again.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like, oh, how dare you, CCP. Imperium CSM members did this on their way out. It's just like, come on. We understand there's cult of personality. It's kind of how it goes. But, he's not the fucking messiah of Eve.
Well, the thing, though, is did it take them that long to figure out that it was actually him? Is that what you're getting? That they had to, get enough evidence? Or were they just kind of turning a blind eye to it until they couldn't anymore?
Well, it might have been a combination of both. I mean, if you're using a VPN, you fake the information on your account.
Right.
How are you to know it's him?
And I mean, there's been a lot of people. So, if you search any notable FC CEO, if you just search their name, you'll see a lot of other quote unquote fake accounts or dirty accounts or this accounts. And you don't know, some of them could be legitimate. They could be an alt or something, or they could be a friend making a joke haha, here's my alt name, I'm gonna name it after you, just so if people send you stuff they accidentally send it to me, not trying to be malicious. And then you have people legitimately Stunt Flores versus Stunt Gigax versus the Gigax. So it's one of those things like Hyper said, if you're hiding behind a VPN, email is different, credit card information is different, then CCP can't just say, oh, I'm going to ban you because you're impersonating, or I'm going to ban you because you're this person who's ban evading, if they don't have proof.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they can.
Yeah, they can ban you for any reason, technically. But generally as a company, I would assume that they don't want to ban anyone unless they are banning them for what they're pretty sure is an offense that they're getting at. Because you don't, I mean, yeah, they could just go randomly, like, you know, just like one, like doing the decimation thing, like, you know, every 10th person they see flying through space, like, ban hammer, bam, just blow them out. But they could do that, but that's a poor way to do business. And so randomly banning someone because they think it might possibly be GigX.
Right, random
pretty
bans
bad
are not
for 'em.
good for business. But
yeah, I mean, like,
banning people.
if they wrongfully banned someone, and then that
You
got
get
out that
more
they banned
flack
some
from that.
random person for being GigX when it's actually not GigX, that would be a
Well,
big PR
every
nightmare.
person that's been banned has been unlawfully banned, according to those people. If you ask them, everyone in jail.
There's
is
some.
innocent.
I mean, there are
It
some
doesn't
people
fucking
who have
matter who
been.
you
There's
ask.
some people who have been banned, and CCP investigates further, and then they've been unbanned. I know Jintan on CSM is a prime example. He was banned
We know
for like
Stun
3
is back.
Yeah, and then Stun's back too. But Jintan was banned for 3 to 6 months, and he still has no idea why. But then he was unbanned.
Yeah.
And he's like super pissed about it. He's like, why?
I would
don't get
encourage.
banned.
I would encourage not just GigX, but other people who were banned for reasons that they believe were like, you know, not the reason that somebody should get banned for. On October 13th, to maybe dial up Pearl Abyss and say, you know, according to your standards in the East, what do you think about this?
Yeah, and their standards in South Korea, botting is against the law and is subject to a 50 million won fine.
He wasn't botting.
Which happens to be about $44,000.
But he wasn't botting. Like, what do they think about things said?
Yeah, the South Korean government, I don't know about Pearl Abyss, but the South Korean government is insane about punishing people that like RMT and bot and things like that. And this is coming from me.
Maybe that's one of the
They
things
are
you should
pretty
watch for
hardcore.
is changes to
Maybe-
the EULA and Eve.
Maybe there's a new court. Maybe we have a new court of higher justice that, like, you know, it can be appealed against.
The court of the
Wow,
online
Scooter
courts.
could actually start billing
Space
for
Court.
his time.
Space Court, yeah.
Yes, yeah. Scooter can start billing.
Like, there should be a space court. Like, why not? People could attend. Like, if they've ever developed walk-in stations, they can make a space court and everyone could come and sit in the room and like RP the shit out of it. And...
Fucking legitimate space juries would be way much better than the CSM. I mean,
Oh
like,
yeah. But how would they now? But hold on, I don't know if I want that, because then everyone's gonna start getting Eve mails that they're summoned for space jury duty.
exactly.
And you're gonna have to attend or suffer like
It's your fucking role as a citizen,
Well, you know,
motherfucker.
It's
but
like
you know
due to your-
who'd
due to
have
your,
to drag people in, right?
it's like due to your
jump
absence
on
at
them?
space court for jury duty, you are now you know a 1 week ban, or they remove skill points or do something to you.
Well, yeah, but you'd only but alphas wouldn't be allowed to do it because, you know, they don't own homes or stuff like
They're
that.
not real
No,
citizens.
alphas would
Well, they're
have
not citizens.
to do it.
They're
No, no,
subject
I
to
was
the
Rain, what's
same
up,
saying
please?
they're
Group
not
on
access
Alamake's?
Jury duty.
Amamake police?
Amamake police, yeah.
So if you're on the Amamake police, you can't be in a jury on the space court.
Well, now hold on. Also, normally you can't
we
be
also
summoned
have-
for. Isn't it like if you're in school you can't be summoned for jury duty? So if you're part of Eve Uni, are you exempt from jury duty?
If you're in faction
Yep.
warfare, you're in the military, you can't be on jury duty.
Oh man, the fucking metagame.
Hold on, did you say faction warfare?
Faction warfare.
I got duty today.
You not
If you're under
Wow.
a war,
Or
you can't be summoned to space jury duty.
That's right.
But that would go
Yeah,
for
the
like
random
would
high
also
sec
go for like
minor.
nullsec deployment, right? I mean, like you
I
can't.
don't know. Concord can't track that.
Yeah, apostate
But then
fire.
again, like if you're in nullsec, who do you want to
That-
be like?
that's
Who
like
do you want on
being-
your
so-
jury? Do you want a bunch
so
of high
that's like
seckers
being
on
in
your
the gang.
jury?
Yeah, you're
That's
gonna
like
need a
being
jury
in
of
a
your
gang.
peers, right?
If you're
So
a
they'll
null
need to
sec,
come
you
from-
can't get jury duty.
Yeah, I like the apostate fire chat. He's like, yeah, I see that going well with the wife, but honey, I can't go to your mother's because I have game jury duty.
I have space
So
jury
you
duty.
guys laugh. No. You guys laugh at that. They have an arc age. If you committed quote unquote crime against your faction, it's like ganking people and stuff, you got crime points. And at 50 crime points, if you died, you were sent to trial. And the players who were good got to be on trial. Like they could queue for or jury duty, and they would vote on your crime. And then if you got voted to jail, which could be up to many hours, or like it was like usually like 10 minutes, right? So you had to go and sit in jail for 10 minutes. You could like try to find loot in jail and stuff. Sometimes it got up to like hundreds of hours of people just like having to AFK.
Well,
They get
So
the
y'all think
shakes.
it's a joke, but this is Dark Age, a Korean MMO, and it's been done before.
what
Got the
if,
shakes.
Oh, I want to do a shot here, and Freelancer just asked a question out there to CCP Avalon. Are you as excited? Are you as excited to Vegas as me? Okay, look. all right. It was bad spelling. It was not like my mind didn't work when I
I
was
think
reading that.
Freelancer's in the right semi right now.
Wait, hold on. And I wasn't gonna do the shot until fucking Avalon answered, and he said, "I am indeed excited as you are." Or
Not quite.
I am excited for Vegas indeed. Now I'm making up words.
So Avalon's going to Vegas?
Apparently, Avalon
Shot.
is going to Vegas. So you know what? I'm fucking doing a shot for that. I didn't know that he was this year. I thought he was going to get
Yeah.
Korean blackballed, but apparently not.
Well, last year he went on his own dollar. It wasn't CCP that
He
sent him.
did.
Now,
Last year he
is
went
that
as-
happening again?
yeah.
Is he just
I-
like Vegas that
I'm
much that he's
gonna
coming on his
say
own,
that
or
it is happening.
CCP sending him?
I'm going to say it's still. No, I'm going to say it's still on his own fucking dime. He can answer here in chat, but I'm going to bet I'll do another shot if he's getting actually paid for by CCP.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a shameless shout out while you guys taking the shot. GS or the Imperium dinner on Thursday night is almost sold out for you Imperium people. They're coming and have not signed up yet. We have 162 people signed up right now, so we got
Yeah,
about
but-
8 spots left.
I'm
Hyper
gonna
Fiber,
tell a
you
story.
said it was exclusive, so therefore we can't really join, okay? Unless we're get like
Well,
those
well,
black
because
hearts.
you
I'm
are
going
an
to tell a
origin.
story as a member of the Imperium.
I have a fucking
For
Google-
those
oh,
of
it's
you,
not my
for
fault.
those of you who took your sorry asses to Brack Region, okay, which by the way, we're not going to be able to say it the same way that we used to, because of, anyways,
I don't think we're allowed to say Brack Region
buyouts
now.
and things.
Yeah, you can't
Okay.
do that.
You can't
That-
say Brack
Say
Region
Black
now.
Legion.
You can't say it now.
No, I mean now that Public
No, the
Abyss
whole
or whatever
buyout
they're
thing.
called.
If nothing had changed before that.
I'll
okay,
never
anyways,
get
whatever.
used to the
I don't
name.
wanna-
What are you
I don't wanna
guys
give it-
talking
oh my
about?
God. Okay,
Never mind,
so
never mind.
so obviously we do the Open Com show live on Thursday night. And this is what we've done. We've done this before the Imperium / Goons / the Imperium had an alliance / coalition dinner at some place. Like, we've been doing this longer than they've had dinners on Thursday night. So we predate that. That being said, I honestly don't know at this time whether or not CCP is going to support Open Comms having a live show and things like that for reasons. Okay. So I need to know if, even if I don't buy a ticket up front, can me and my wife come, if the whole Open Comms thing doesn't happen that night?
What the fuck?
No.
I'll totally fucking pay my ticket. I just can't buy a ticket in advance thinking
Dirk,
I'm
Dirk,
not going to
Dirk,
be there.
We're
Sir,
doing
can
the
you
show.
talk to Moses and Raiden?
No, I've talked to Moses and Raiden, but I'm
All
not
right,
sure
we're going.
Moses
We're
and
doing it.
Raiden have talked to the
No,
people
no, they
that matter
have. Nope, they have. Nope.
when
it's
it comes
happening
to
now.
when it comes to
We're gonna do it, Dirk.
all we want to do is have a party for Eve players. Dirk will only be there for 10 minutes.
Yes. No, that's what we're doing, Dirk. Still gonna do it. Also,
Okay, fine, never mind.
Hyper
I don't-
Viper,
I don't need
where's
that shit.
this
As much as I
restaurant
want to
at?
go for once to a goddamn Imperium dinner, I can't do it on
Well,
Thursday.
if you checked out with your Goon alt in goonsfleet.com.
I don't use the forums at all. Like, there's fitting guides, but I just cry. at
Actually, the
work that
location has
someone
not
helps me.
not been set. We did release the vendor that it's a barbecue place. Smokes
Do they
the
accommodate
brisket
allergies?
as much as we can with meat.
I think they have gluten-free meats there, Rain.
Yeah, we have
Yeah,
gluten free.
then I
They have
can
veggies. We have a whole bunch of foods. You get like
You have a crudité platter?
What?
Yeah. Do you have a meat and cheese platter?
Hold on, not
we
meat
have
and
meat
cheese. I thought you were
macaroni and
totally
cheese.
fucking just celery and get out.
No, meat and cheese. Dirk, I literally eaten meat and cheese platters before.
It's gonna be foie gras.
Gluten-free
Or-
vegan-
How do you say it? Foie
I can't-
gras? Foie gras?
No, there's gonna be no duck. I almost,
Spoke
Is
with
that
it
duck?
now.
I thought it was
I
snails.
almost had they had a thing where they'll bring the whole
That's
pig,
escargot.
and you can come, get
It
chunks
is
of pig
goose
out.
liver that is just
But I figured
like,
there's probably not a good
stuffed
thing for this
throughout
first
the
time.
year with eat the fatty shit.
Wait,
goose.
Dirk. When is our open com show then on Thursday?
It'll
in
be
Vegas?
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
local
local
time
time.
out in
That's
Vegas, which
way
is the same
too
time that
early.
we are here
It's
So
the
on
can
the
we
East
move
Coast.
it back a little?
It's the
like,
same
I want to
time.
go
No,
to dinner.
no.
I want to go to. I want have a cute
We
dinner.
all want to go to fucking dinner, Rain.
Turk! Then push the show back.
Push it back to when? Later in the night?
Like,
Earlier in the
8 o'clock,
afternoon?
so I can go to dinner at 5.
What if
get
we have
back.
some?
Why don't you do the show at the dinner?
Because it's a special dinner.
What if we have
Be
like
quiet.
what if we have like a meet?
It's a
and
special
cheese?
show.
I'm having a date.
Oh.
Are you? Is he coming in? Is he flying in from overseas?
I don't want you guys to hear that.
Ducks
We're gonna
and
be there,
goose.
right? Can I be your chaperone?
Are you gonna like? Am I gonna get all dressed up and then you send me off like a daughter to prom type thing?
Mhm.
No, I don't think it would come to that level. Anyways,
You behold
all
my
that
rabbit.
being said, apparently there's
Why
a
was
whole
it getting
bunch of shit
creepy?
going on. Can you please tell me a little bit more about this Imperium dinner that's going to happen on Thursday night? I wish we had a representative on here for. I was going to say PL, but I'm not even sure they're having a dinner. I think
PL
that
dinner
this
is Friday
thing
night.
that
No,
just
PL dinner
happened.
is Friday night at Fogo de Chao as normal.
No,
Let's
Is
go
it?
into the.
No.
Hold on. You say that. I think they were planning on a Fogo de Chao dinner out there.
They're not
Oh,
going
But
to
I
Fogo de
think
Chao?
that with this whole buyout notice that happened in the last 48 hours, 27 hours, or whatever the fuck it was now at this point, like, I'm really concerned about whether or not
PL
Pandemic
dinner's still-
Legion is going to live through them getting bought out by Koreans.
they're
Because,
still
like, a lot of them are
doing
really
it.
fucking angry.
What the fuck? No, PL spy. Just go in and log on the board.
I don't need
It's
a
not that hard.
fucking PL spy.
Okay,
Like,
you have a
literally,
pandemic
guys
war
I know,
spy.
totally fucking angry.
No less than
I think
12
the,
of them.
The
Oh
food
my
vendor.
No
God.
less
and
than
the,
12 people
PL's
over there,
still having a
angry
dinner.
as
It's on,
fuck.
It's on Friday, so if you are not Goon and not PL, you can just go to both and get a bunch of free food and hang out with people.
Hold on, I'm not PL. I went to the PL dinner not last year, the year before.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was Fogo de Chao.
Huh,
It was
I
good.
saw some
Fogo de
fucking
Chao, you can't
tweet
go
out
wrong with
there
Fogo
from
de
fucking
Chao.
Dome Chinchilla today about how he couldn't even fucking log into Eve, but don't worry, he's still having fucking Eve Breckenridge. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, they're angry, they're getting, like, cut off from Eve.
I don't follow crybaby.
Yeah,
people.
I went,
This goes back to last week when it was like, man, there's got corpse leaving. It's like, I don't know what's happening anymore.
it was great because like they were like Elise got up there, he was doing his whole speech and like he's like, oh thanks everyone, like PL's great, and I was like, yeah, and people were like, oh, what corp are you with? I'm like, TNT. How's it going?
Oh, that year you went with me.
Yeah. It's
It's
like
the one fucking TNT guy
Yeah, it-
at the fucking PL dinner. Hold on. At the TNT dinner, I'm sorry, at the PL dinner, there was one fucking TNT guy and Crass Kitty.
Oh man.
I think at the PL dinner at FanFest, I was like the only. No, I probably wasn't the only, but they were like just like me, just hanging out with a bunch of nerds.
it was
fun.
funny because that was the dinner that like since then it's been a joke, but like that was the dinner where it was the second time I had met Rocket X. And
Hold on.
for the
You say
second
it's a
time,
joke.
I legitimately
Oh,
called
that's
him
a joke.
Coffee Rocks and actually meant
Like
it.
Coffee
I was like,
Rocks!
Coffee
He's
Rocks,
like-
good to meet you. And he just looked at me like, fuck you, dude. Like, honestly,
Dude, you're so bad with meeting people. You're like, aren't you? And it was like, no, totally not that guy.
yeah, no, it's like, because I honestly, I was like, and then I thought about it, and then he's like, Rocket X. I was like, I know. yeah.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
linked the vendor that we're having doing the barbecue for in the TeamSpeak. If you guys want to link it, they brought me food, so I tried it out. Man, some good food.
Are you in Vegas?
Yeah, I live here.
Where's the best restaurant for a meat and cheese platter?
Yeah.
At the meat and cheese
Somewhere,
house down on.
somewhere on the strip, probably. I
Okay,
don't
because
know.
I googled it and it was just like a bunch of shit, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just ask a local. And Blaston's been super out of pocket because of real life, so I figure I ask you.
Yeah, Blast and I hang out. We've been trying out different places for our Eve or our monthly meets out here. But
Well, number one, you got to ask somebody who's really into meat and cheese platters. because,
yeah, I'm like,
That's
because you
me.
like a
Is it
steak in a
ham?
place might
got
not
some
mean
ham,
that you
got
like
some
the meat and
mozzarella.
cheese
I'm
platter.
good.
I
Now,
want
if you
that
talk
one.
about cigar Scotch bar, I know a really good one down the strip. So I think Rodin and
We're talking about meat and cheese platters, buddy.
I'm sorry. I this is what I do.
I'm sorry, I really.
Sorry,
like
Rain.
cheese platters.
I'm sorry. Gluten-free meat and cheese platters.
It's if you have gluten in your meat or your cheese, you're fucking doing it wrong.
Whatever. I have
I'm
no idea what they
sorry.
sprinkle on that might choke
like,
you up.
I mean, like, I would. It's not us doing it wrong. That'd be the animal doing it wrong, wouldn't it? Like, it somehow got
No,
gluten
that
in
would be the
itself.
person preparing the food doing it wrong. it is impossible to have gluten in meat unless you add something to it that has gluten in it. Same with cheese.
I stayed away from
cover
I stayed away
flour.
from using gluten, glutenitis or whatever it is, like in a tweet the other day,
Celiac?
like celiac disease or whatever. Like I stayed away from it, like because of you. I did it out of respect for you, Rain, and I used vegan instead. And then I had people coming back. I had people coming back to me with sad sack fucking stories about veganism and like why like a cheese pizza will kill them, and I'm just like, all right, look, it was just a fucking joke, people. National Pizza Day. Like National Cheese Pizza Day shouldn't exist. I'm sorry, it shouldn't, because cheese pizza is just the foundation for a fucking pizza. All right, and then they're like, well, but anything not on fucking vegan pizza. I'm like, oh my god, can you please not take a fucking joke?
I went super serious on that one.
Swedish meatballs are actually
intentionally.
super
Vegan
good, and they're
pizza.
gluten
You
free.
can't even have cheese on that.
Can't fucking joke about shit nowadays.
Vegan
like,
pizza
honestly,
is just tomato
honestly,
and bread.
The last 48
Yeah,
hours,
on
I
toast.
wanted nothing more than to fucking joke about like microtransactions and all that kind of stuff. But like, I know that if I joked too hard about microtransactions, like people out there would take it
You'd
fucking
get crucified,
seriously
man.
and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, you know what? Okay, I can't do this anymore because everybody gets triggered over fucking everything now.
Oh,
Can
I
you,
had
like,
a-
Can you like make the jokes and then drive the price of Pearl Abyss stock down so that I can buy at the bottom?
I think Matterall was telling me today that he like I think it was Matterall or McLeod or whatever that they were like I think Plex is like on the rise. I'm like why did they take my suggestion?
No, that was me.
I'm like, did they take my suggestion that Doomsdays should be powered with fuel by Plex? I'm like,
That would be
wow,
cool.
that's really quick. The Koreans are on top of this.
That was me. I was like, I like looked at the prices today because I look at them every day, and it was like, what the fuck? It's going up all of a sudden.
I found the way to like limit the number of fucking Titans that go into use, and that's like put Plex as being the fucking fuel for a goddamn Doomsday.
Yep.
Or corpses.
Oh man.
And,
Although-
could you
and
imagine?
suck up to my fucking Korean overlords at the same time.
See, I was mentioning this earlier, and I was telling Rain about this. I want familiars. Like, if they threw familiars into the game,
Thank
I
you
would
for
not.
bringing that up. I forgot about that from earlier
I-
in the
I
night.
would love it.
Familiars,
Like-
people, this is something we all need to
Yeah,
consider.
okay. So you get a familiar that floats around your ship. Just doesn't do any combat stuff. It just hangs out there.
Pro.
But yeah, little drone holding something
It's
up.
a drone
But I was thinking-
familiar. Let's put it in
Yeah,
technical
A
terms.
non-combat drone.
Yeah, non-combat drone. But even better, what
Camera
if you could
drones.
have your favorite Eve character personality as your familiar? But the only way to do
Like
it
a
is you
like a Grath familiar
Yeah,
that
like,
would
so
make your
you-
ship extra angry.
Wow.
You have to catch. You have to get the corpse, and then you have to turn it in, mix with Plex, and then you have your Eve Grath familiar that you get to poke at it, and it says, "What's your favorite ice cream?"
What
You
is
want
your
SRP?
quest?
Eric says, "Can I have a pro that's familiar?"
What?
Fuck you, yes.
What
And he
is your
says,
favorite
We
color?
leave with two fucking dictors again.
Yeah, exactly. PTL.
Two fucking
Armor
dictors,
hack.
Eric.
So would
Hey,
the
that'd be-
business familiar say
Oh my
twist
god,
the knife?
this entire thing actually sounds really fucking cool and funny at the same time.
Well, yeah, like people would not complain about that. Like, oh, you're charged Plex when you have your fucking from PGL familiar hanging around with you. I think it'd be fun. It'd be awesome. You see these things just floating around. You gotta dress
You're
them
the
up.
cancer killing this alliance.
Yeah, you're the cancer rotting this alliance from the inside out.
Like you squeeze your familiar.
Yeah, well, you have like the
Bust out
the
quotes.
Matani familiar would say "twist the knife." You have all the great sayings.
I think every player would have to submit what they want their familiar line to say, and then CCP could filter it based on like appropriateness.
Yeah, but,
you know, like
but that's easy. That's easy. Like,
Yeah.
like, what they would say is easy, but like what they would like convey upon you, right? Like that would be harder.
But then you have like the little drone. You like zoom in on it because you can
Oh,
see
hold
it.
on,
You
CCP
can see it
Darwin.
holding up the
Darwin.
corpse.
CCP
I'm
Darwin
writing
says he's
this
writing it
down.
down. Yeah, nice. Okay,
Oh,
suggestions.
really?
Darwin. I'm going to tell you right now. Go to the new Sumitomo boss and be like, look, I've got this idea for how we can bring like all this shit into this. Like, boom, promo.
memes in space.
Yeah. Beams in
Oh
space.
my
That's
god!
awesome.
Can you think of how how quickly weaponized the
Because you
the
can do
boat
it as a
familiar would
drone,
be?
right? It doesn't have to be like a Hello Kitty out there, right?
Yeah.
It can be a drone with little ears,
You
still be
wouldn't,
kind of
like-
Hello Kitty type, but
Like, it
Well,
won't be
even
on your
better, take it to the
overview.
next level. Even
Won't be
think of little
targetable.
signs. It's like, the drone is holding I'm with like stupid as it's circling your Titan.
Well, it would actually.
maybe hold on. Maybe this is
Dirk,
the whole way
can you-
Bruce happened, right?
You can put a
Picture
main
how
outfit on
quickly
it.
weaponized the boat familiar would get.
Oh,
Oh my God! It
just
just had the
shut
boat
up.
familiar.
Oh,
It's like the
no.
Dirk familiar, right? The Dirk familiar would just make your ship go like side to side.
We
like,
got this
you
thing
wouldn't be
called
able
the
to like
claw fleet.
F1 monkey things.
Well, the boat familiar is like
Uses claw feet.
the boat familiar is like the officer level, like it's the super high one because it doesn't just say one thing; it just goes on like random storytelling and it just clogs up the chat. Yeah, it just
Free.
yeah.
The occasional dog.
No,
barking.
that would be Durher Dur. Durher Dur would be the re.
This could be built into the lore, and actually, it would be challenging. And I think that Falcon would find it challenging to be able to build it into the lore.
Graphic human head, Darwin says. Instead
You
of
have-
one, it's a
you have
hologram.
Holographic human head.
Yes.
The Inimical said, "You're both wrong. The boat familiar would cause friendly fire damage only."
Just start shooting your allies.
Well, even better. Let's take it to the next level. You can then breed familiars. You
I
have
know, that's
Gigex
weird.
and the Matani, and you have one with one hand
You
without.
could mix a Gigex and the Matani familiar and come out with what?
The judge
Chaos? I don't know.
the judge familiar wouldn't be a
Ooh,
head;
what
it would
would
be
that
floating
be?
hands like in space
We
around your
need
ship.
tech
and-
to boat familiars.
See, now we're getting industry involved here, and that's what's like making their ears perk up out there.
And invention.
And invention, yeah, exactly.
Yes. We've invented success.
Cribba would
Yeah,
just be like
Amazing.
a portion of
This
Jesus.
is the kind,
Like,
this is the
there's
kind of
so many good
forward
ideas
thinking
with
that
this.
we used to have back in the day.
Yeah, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
the
to get the
community's
friendly
fine.
fire AoE effect, though, the boat familiar would have to be the T2 boat familiar.
Darwin's like, wait, I need another drink.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm fleshing this out. I'm fleshing it out. But wait, I need another drink.
It would kind of be like the Pokemon of Eve. Like you got to catch all the familiars.
Well,
You
number
gotta
one,
get them all.
corpses?
we talked about Pokemon Go and Eve, and like number one, that should have been a thing a couple of years ago, back when like Pokemon Go first came out, or whatever.
It would be terrible for fleet commanders because when you saw the like whatever familiar like skin that you could get, like people would just be like breaking off of like Anchor, and FCs would be getting super pissed because it's like, oh yeah, but
Well,
the
well,
boat
here's
familiar.
another idea that I had. Here's one idea I had, but it's more of like game breaking, not necessarily game breaking, but makes them not passive. It's like you have the Grath Talcon familiar with you, and let's say you're cruising through space, you enter an incursion system, you get attacked by Africanized incursion rats, and Grath sacrifices himself for you guys under the sound of like these damn Africanized incursion rats. And he
Mad
just-
Cat, shoot the frigate.
Yeah, he like
Yeah, but
goodbye,
if-
familiar.
But if you can
As
do
a
that, then
sacrifice
would the
self to
boat
get through.
familiar make the Grath familiar rage quit?
You try to summon more than one.
They interact with each other. It's like, oh, is that boat? I'm leaving this channel.
So with the Pro God Legend one, would it make wormholes collapse like spontaneously? As you're
Oh, fuck. Dude, there's like
Ouch.
Holy
It would
man,
have
brainstorming
right?
this
Gets
forever.
through.
It'd be great.
I mean, there's just so much stuff that you could monetize that we would probably buy
We
because it's so
would.
stupid but fun. But it wouldn't be affecting the game, and it wouldn't incur the wrath.
It's
of
all just
of the
for
people.
yeah, it'd just be like some fun ass
Wait,
stuff.
hold on. You guys, I'm sorry. I'm a dumbass here. Okay, I thought familiars were like something that could like actually affect your ship or like whatever.
No,
Are you
no,
saying
no,
that
it's-
these
it's like-
familiars that they
Sometimes.
have out there? Because I've heard these things about loot pets and whatnot, which I was trying to communicate to CCB
It'd be
Carter
like pets
today.
and
Like,
wow,
that's
basically.
like,
They don't
oh.
do anything. They're just there.
Yeah, they follow you around. Like they look cute. They
Oh,
have your
okay.
name
So they're
behind
just cute. They're just cutesy tootsy things.
It's cosmetics,
fine.
yeah.
Fine. It's like
Yeah.
abso-fucking-lutely. I thought we actually had some things that would like cast some magic upon your ship, like
No,
logic and whatnot.
I mean, you could do that too, but
Defense
that would
down
be,
20.
people would be upset with that because it actually affect the game.
Yeah.
The boat familiar would actually
I thought
swap.
we had
It would
already
actually
moved
swap
off
the jump and
into
bridge buttons on your
things are
Titan
going
menu.
to affect your shit at some
That's
point.
called the Azakai move.
the Asakai. Yeah, the Asakai. I mean, but yeah.
What
I
are
mean,
these loot pets that like pick up your loot or whatever? Like they affect the game, right?
Yeah, that's
called
Black
drones.
Desert. That's-
salvage drones?
Yeah.
But can't we call them loot pets now?
What if they had drones that actually did loot, like not just
Or we
salvage,
could
but
put,
like,
like,
actually like
bunny
looted
ears.
the wreck and brought it back to you?
Like mobile depots?
Mobile
yeah,
tractor
but
beams.
those loot into themselves.
it's
I mean,
cute.
they bring it into your own cargo, so you don't have to right click and scoop all, basically.
But can you have a skin for your mobile tractor unit?
Yeah, it's like, well, like okay, we have.
How have they not sold that yet, Noisy?
Yes.
Yeah,
Wait a
I
minute,
mean, I
wait a
don't
minute,
listen very
Darwin,
often, but
write
I
that
would
down
buy a
too.
skin for a mobile tractor unit.
And
Skins
this
for
is really
drones,
the
skins
worst
for
game in the
bubbles.
fucking world for skins, right? And yet people still buy. When people bitch about microtransactions and stuff out there, I fucking laugh my ass off. I go, you guys buy skins on things you can't see unless you zoom in on it.
And you don't have shit
500
graphics
plus
on.
skins
I
to
fly
get in.
zoom
And
in.
you don't have shit graphics on, yeah.
I fly zoom. Here's the thing: if you're not the FC, you're usually anchored, and you can fly zoomed in. You don't have to worry about where the hell you're going.
Plus, then you can
Yeah,
shit
but
talk
s-
everyone who doesn't have a skin.
Yeah, or the shit talking familiar, rare drop.
Yeah.
The
How rare a drop
the
would that
rare
be?
drop.
Oh, I
I'm
got,
looking. I'm looking
got
in the
a
Whoa,
chat.
Ford
and
my
Hello Kitty
familiar
Mobile
just went
Depot.
maximum over Dirk.
Oh man, I'd want the
Oh,
Jeff
that's
Rader drone. I want the Jeff Rader familiar. That'd probably be the best one.
Jeez.
I want the Dirk McGurk New Year's Eve edition. Right.
No, no. honestly, because that does affect your main character.
Yes.
But seriously, I mean, like,
Lowe's
see,
is
okay,
saying shots.
this is
Yeah, he's got
this
some
is less
Korean
funny
in
than
there.
I thought it was before, and just like at the funny level. I thought these were things that actually based on like actually conferred some sort of benefit to you. Because number one, I'm sorry, why would you buy things that don't confer benefit upon you? So I'm
'Cause
sorry,
they
I
look
was
cool,
behind the
and they do
whole.
cool stuff.
Because
Apparently.
Look at League of Legends. League of Legends had
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
zero things besides cosmetics, and they're the
I'm
most
doing
played
a,
game.
I'm doing a shot
and they
because
make
Centric said it,
millions.
and like
Oh,
because
yeah,
I was
I mean-
wrong.
Shooter McLeod said it.
I do shots when I was
I
wrong.
will admit, I
and if
own
Shooter
a lot of
McLeod said
skins
it,
in
whatever.
League.
Fuck it, I'm doing it too.
I wouldn't doubt that even though League of Legends is a free to play game, I've probably put $400 into that game.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
easily
500.
myself. Without a
All
doubt.
right, look. We're off into fucking rando territory here, so I do just want to like do a public service announcement. I know we don't have a lot of Europeans like like listening to the show right now, but like whatever. However, I do want to say that season 11 finally, women are always late to the fucking party. Season 11 of Doctor Who is going to launch on Sunday, October
my
7th.
gosh.
They've moved it from Saturday to Sunday. Not like my Sunday nights aren't fucking caved in enough with other shows. However, season 11 of Doctor Who is going to be launched both in the UK and the US at the same time, equal, okay, on Sunday, October 7th. Real quick, the Jersey Shore Family Reunion second season is already back, and they're in Vegas at Planet fucking Hollywood.
And they have episodes of them partying at Dry's because
Dre's,
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 it's my club.
all
It's
you
whatever.
Matterall.
DJ Pauly D actually DJs there, so I've been watching Dre's sort of
They
like
were at the
event
Heart Bar.
calendar. Yeah, they were at the Heart Bar. They went to that breakfast place that
They went to the
everyone would
breakfast
go
place,
to.
which used to be Planet Dailies, but it's now called Cafe Hollywood, I think.
But yeah, they party at Dre's because what's his name? DJ Pauly D is a DJ there. So hopefully
Apparently
after
that's his
Permaband,
home
like-
base.
Yeah.
And I want
Yeah,
to throw this out
he's
there
a
since I know that
resident
CCP
there.
Darwin is listening right now, and I know that CCP Avalon is listening right now. I need them to actually go to CCP Guard, who will then go to the next person in line of who's
Yes.
responsible for the party and all that kind of shit in fucking Vegas. Make sure fucking Pauly D is there the night that we are.
Yeah,
It would just be
Simple
absolutely
request.
hilarious.
dude. Just
We're not
imagine-
asking for a fucking lot here. We're literally asking for a guy who gets paid like an extra 15 grand a year to like do a whole fucking like show.
What if Pauly D actually plays at Vegas the Dre party?
That's
and-
what I mean.
Yeah,
That's why I'm
that's what
asking
we
them
want.
to
Could you
make
just
sure
imagine,
that
like, Pauly
he's
D
like
comes out and
DJing
plays
that
like
night.
Under the Asteroids. Yes.
We don't give a shit. All we care about is
I
whether or
missed
not
it.
fucking he's out there fucking at that time. Because then we'll just like go fucking fist pump, bitch.
Jim Tan Laundry, MVP.
Did you say Gin Tan Laundry?
Jim Tan Laundry, but that's a
sorry,
good
my
one.
bad.
That's a good
I
one.
thought you said JTL.
Yeah, GPL.
Now, the final final fucking TV time that I want to bring up tonight. I've seen the first episode of The Purge, the series.
Oh.
I haven't bought in yet. We have 10
movie
episodes
series?
of this to go. I think that I think it has room to kind of develop some character stuff, except for those people who are on that bus and they're just cult members wanting to get purged. But The Purge, the series, I find really weird this time of year. I feel like it's a campaign message for one of the campaigns that are leading into the midterms in the U.S. But
Caucuses.
like, I haven't bought in just quite yet.
Now,
I feel it's not as good as the movies, which had kind of like a thought process to them. But we're gonna see how this builds.
Well, so what was the last movie? It was the first Purge or whatever. It was like basically like how the
It
Purge
was the first
start.
Purge, yeah.
Now where in the
Which
time?
I feel like from watching the series, you had to watch the movie The First Purge to understand how the new founding fathers of America actually like put this together and everything, because it's already in place with the beginning of the new series, which I was sad by. I thought they could have developed that
I was gonna say, like,
much further and found out how like Trump did like shit and whatnot. But
Do
whatever.
they know like roughly in the timeline of where is it like? It's obviously after the first Purge, but is it like before or after the other movies, or does it even matter? Is it just its own standalone thing?
It doesn't say where it is in the Purge timeline. It just is.
Just is.
Now
I-
what?
I-
I'm,
the
gonna,
way- so-
I'm gonna dip you guys.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, hold on.
well-
We're pretty much done anyway. But real quick, where is it? Like, what location in the U.S.?
We just wanted to know what would happen when, like, the Purge in Des Moines, Rain, tell us. Like, do you think that would be a thing or no?
I mean, a lot of islands have, so no. Why would you shoot at someone who can shoot back?
Well,
It's kind of like Idaho and Montana.
just asking.
I
We're just
also-
asking if one night out of the year you might not get your Purge on.
So if I had a purge, I would definitely not murder anyone, but I would definitely go and like.
I'd fucking
Tax
hide.
evade?
Bunker.
I would hide.
Yeah,
because
Because
tax-
all,
I
all,
would- I
all
would do
level
things
four and under
like
crimes are available.
burn my debt documents,
Jaywalk.
like steal some medicine,
Jaywalk.
like
Yeah, you should totally do that.
run.
You should totally do
Penis
that
off
the
the
night
road.
of the Purge.
Like, I think the purge is really unrealistic. I don't think a lot of people
Really?
want to murder other people. I think a lot of people are
You
like,
have
hey,
not been to LA
maybe
then.
What? Okay, maybe LA, yeah. But I think a lot of others are just like, yeah, maybe I'll steal some things. Maybe I'll get rid of some debt. Maybe I'll, like, I don't know, punch my neighbor who's an asshole. They don't
What do you
want to
Talk
kill
about
people.
life insurance
I'm gonna
policies.
look, and for people that out there don't think that this is not Eve related, I'm gonna ask you this question: what about 24 hours of the Purge, one day a year?
High sec.
No, hold on. I
Oh, what if we had a
say
high
fucking high sec. Why do you hate a fucking high sec? I just
You mean
meant
burn
Shut
cheetah?
up,
in
jerk.
Eve.
Don't we already live that every day, though, Dirk?
In Eve.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, what if high
In
sec? What if there? Yeah, what if
Not
there's a
in
day where?
nullsec, not in wormholes, not generally like on a gate that
Yeah,
like
yeah,
some
like
motherfuckers
high sec, like-
camping
like,
in
what
low
if
sec.
they-
But like
What if there's one day of the year where high sec was treated the same as null sec?
where there just
Every,
was
every
no
sec.
and
Every
like
sec
and
was
like
treated
people
the
didn't
same
know
as
and boarded
wormhole
up their
space.
fortizars didn't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, wormhole space
Well-
and null sec are the same. It's just the
Wormhole space is no local.
Oh. Now that's
Sometimes.
Local.
that's
Okay,
something.
so
Great
honestly,
dad
you
version
just shit out of high sec, but
game.
like
If there
still, we
was-
can't sell it like that, right?
If
We
there
can't
was
sell
one
it like that.
day, if there was one day a year where high sec had no rules like that, okay, then wouldn't the response from the people who normally don't want to have to deal with PvP just be, all right, well, I won't log in that day?
You would say
But
that.
hold
but
on.
Yeah, but look at Burn
But you would get
Yeah,
the people
Burn
who
Cheetah,
didn't
exact- yeah.
know because they're not connected.
Yeah, they don't
to
pay
the,
attention.
to the broadcast systems that come up. From my understanding, 1 minute before 7:00 p.m. on night of the Purge, and like there wouldn't be a whole broadcast thing.
Yeah, it'd be the same as like
They wouldn't
like,
know.
like LB said,
You
Burn
just be
Cheetah.
walking
It's
out
like
getting a loaf of bread, and their fucking freighter got ganked.
that's the
Every
thing,
year
it's
there's a Burn Gina, and every year it's bigger and bigger and bigger. I don't understand how that happens. Like, it's coming. You know it's coming. And
But
then
what if it
comes,
happened
and they don't
everywhere
fly
because
your
we were
fucking
just
freighter
trying to
Gina.
burn
They
off
have
some
to-
I blame inflation.
They have to know that it's there though. But if they aren't connected to any media sources, any like forum sources, any of the outlets, if they just log in, play, and they keep to their own little world and don't pay attention to anything else, they'll never know it's
Right.
coming, and that would be the same
So they'll
thing
totally
with this.
Unless it's
Purge
on the
too.
launcher.
Yeah, but
Well,
All right, hold on.
They'll
I
make
it's
would
not like
there's things that launch
100%
people don't pay
support
attention
it
to.
being on the launcher. In
That
fact,
happened
I
one
would
year.
100% support it being on when you click to log in, a pop-up came up and said, the purge is now in effect.
All right, hold
Like,
on.
I would literally let these people who don't read what they like click to like please.
Well, yeah.
All right,
that's a given.
Now, we're at the 2-hour mark.
We are.
I have
We
to
are.
dip.
Yeah,
Rain's got a dip,
fucking dip.
so
You
let's.
I literally want to tell all of you people out there, God bless you. I hope you take a moderate stance, regarding all this stuff that's happening with CCP games, not EVE Online. Fuck CCP games. Let's just watch our game and make sure that it fucking works out the way we want it to work out, and react accordingly to the game, and go from there. Take a moderate standpoint, which right now is neither positive nor neutral. We'll watch it. We'll see how it fucking goes. If you see something going bad that you think is related to the meddling of outside sources and we need to build a fucking wall to Korea, we'll fucking do it.
If you
And
see
blame
something,
fake
say
news.
something.
I almost feel like it's like a flat earther type of mentality, and the fact that it's like there's all this stuff where it's just like, maybe this is a bad analogy, but the flat earthers is like, this is what I think's gonna happen, and no one's gonna convince me otherwise. I don't care what you show me, what I see, it's all fake. It's all going to shit.
Should we do a shot later,
anti-vaxxers.
bitches?
Yeah, we'll do a shot. We'll do it later, bitches, and then that bottle's empty. I had another one right here.
Damn, I really thought with like how much little I fucking had left tonight, I would have cleared this by now, but
You need to talk less, Dirk. More
I actually.
thoughts.
You want me to go topless? You want me to do that?
No,
Want me
you
to
can't
roll
do
it?
that.
Talk less.
I heard topless too. Just you know what? It sounded
I'm
like it.
projecting whatever.
I'm saving myself for someone in Vegas.
Oh, thank you, Dirk.
Just saying.
Wait, you're gonna speak less for someone in Vegas? What?
There we go.
All right.
I always speak less in Vegas. Anyways, we're doing
Later,
a shot.
bitches.
Later, bitches.
Later, bitches. I should close it, right?